Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy.
Took like 3 or 4 raviolis and stacked them, would that be lasagna?
Yes.
Oh.
You know what, Nolan, did you know?
Let me ask you this.
Brad,
how often do you get ravioli? Sometimes you get raviolis, they're
Stuck
all
in your
flat on the
butt?
plate.
No.
Sometimes you get raviolis, they're like on top of each other.
No.
That's true.
Yeah.
No.
Like in a bowl, they kind of sit.
Accidentally, so it becomes
If
accidental.
they're like in a bowl or
So it becomes
raviolis do you
accidental
eat?
lasagna.
something.
It becomes at that
You
point it
eat,
becomes
like, 40
accidental lasagna. Is that
raviolis?
what you're saying?
Accidental lasagna.
How far
you
can
just
we
eating
take
spaghetti?
that? Though?
Well, I don't know.
What?
Nolan,
Like a pot
What's up,
sticker is
Nick?
basically
Did you-
a ravioli. If you stacked a bunch of pot stickers, would that be a lasagna?
I mean, I keep trying
No.
to interject with guys. Did you know that we're actually this is the show? Like, and I keep
Is this the show,
I
Nick?
keep getting shot down with more lasagna talk.
What is the show?
This is the show, everybody. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 598. It is April 25th, 2019. My name is Nick Henderson, and I am joined to my right by Brad Simons,
If a piece of ravioli gets stuck to a pot,
Nolan Hedstrom,
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Ken says a 2-layer lasagna is just a spaghetti sandwich, and I agree.
All right, we figured this out. We also have Chris Davis on the mic over there, although I don't know if his mic is currently on. Say hello, Chris Davis.
Hello?
Hello. And I do want to say, first of all, we do apologize for not doing a show last week. But,
I don't apologize.
Sorry, I apologize.
we had
I
a
was
lot
not
of
here.
fun.
Brad was not able to make it. So y'all did a wonderful little Overcooked 2 stream in its place,
It
right?
was actually slightly undercooked.
It was a little.
It was a
al
little al
dente.
dente.
Yeah.
How long did y'all... We're talking a lot about pasta in this episode. How long did y'all end up playing? I
We
watched
played for a while.
I watched
3
for a little
hours.
while.
Yeah, we
Damn.
went. We started
Don't
at
ever
like around
switch?
7. Yeah, and we went until maybe like 10:30.
We were like, we'll play some Overcooked and then maybe play something else later, and then nope, we just played
that's what I'm
Overcooked.
saying. I'm surprised.
Okay, now I see what Brad was talking about when he said y'all have a high tolerance for Overcooked.
Dude, we went all night long, and I would not let us move on to the next level until we got
Yeah,
3
we
stars.
3-starred everything that we
Everything.
played. It was nuts. It was stupid.
Yes.
It was really, really dumb.
Well, you know what? That's our specialty. Really, really dumb. Anyways,
I feel like it'd be more fun to go back to 3-star after you've moved on.
No,
Because not only are you better at the game, but
No.
you're like, oh, this level.
It's like
No.
each level is so
have to get better
different
now.
though. Is like has such a
Well, they all-
routine to it
they
that
all have
like
a
you
unique kind of like flow
once-
that you have to get
Yeah.
into.
yeah. Like starting a new level is so much of like, okay, what the shit's happening
Like,
now?
what am I
Like,
even making?
Yeah.
well, since we're not actually going to talk about Overcooked tonight,
well, we are.
Oh, I
like,
mean,
that was
aside
the most
from right now.
organic transition
I know, but aside
into
from-
impressions I've ever
Now
seen.
we
I know,
have to.
aside from right now, I just kind of wanted to ask. So, what do y'all think about Overcooked 2 in comparison to Overcooked 1?
It's
I've
really
only
good,
played the
but
first
it's just an expansion of Overcooked 1.
I
So
mean,
it's
I will
okay.
say it definitely is more intense than the first one. There's
Wonderful.
a lot
That's
more going
just what it
on.
needed.
Because instead of just being like, oh, make a hamburger, it's like, oh, make 3 different types of hamburger, and also you're making sushi at the same time.
You're
and,
like
yeah.
the restaurants are more fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it's like weirder setting. Like one of the ones we had a lot of fun with was like it was
Burritos or
the burritos. No, but there was like a Hogwarts kitchen that we
Oh.
were cooking
Shouldn't be
in.
Fuck
making
that
burgers
place.
around sushi. That's probably dangerous.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's not.
You
Great.
know what? Do y'all ever eat like poke bowl places?
Yeah.
I actually
I
do not.
have not.
Okay, so like,
Not big on the Pokeballs.
is that just like lazy sushi? Do you think sushi chefs like despise that?
Probably.
I never thought
What
about that.
nationality?
honestly.
Because it's just the
poke.
ingredients of sushi just tossed
Hawaiian.
into a bowl and say, oh, throw some sauce on it, have some fun. Right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But like sushi is all about, I've
Precision
studied
and-
70 years to fold this piece of fish over
I don't
this
think they
rice.
fold the fish. They
you
cut
know-
it in a certain
you know what I'm
way.
saying?
Brad knows
it's
how to
the
make
same
sushi.
shit.
And they generally form it into rice.
It doesn't taste.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
different.
isn't like the art of sushi mostly in like the preparation of the fish?
Yes.
That's a big part.
So like how it's served maybe isn't quite as
I know it's a different thing, but it's still raw fish and rice.
I mean, the Pokeballs and sushi appeal for the same reasons to the same people, because the people who eat Pokeballs usually are into it because of the raw fish aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
Minus
Maybe.
the
And the rice. And a lot of the, I mean, you get like wasabi and like seaweed. I mean, you can
No,
get.
the real question is, do sushi chefs
Hey,
chefs. Do they hate ceviche?
Ooh,
That's
there
not
you
the
go.
same.
What? How is that not the same?
God.
It's raw fish and you squirt
Come
some lemon on it
on.
and you're like, there, it's good now. It always weirds me out when they're like, here is some bison ceviche. And I'm like,
What the
no.
fuck?
Yes,
what?
that's a
Wait,
thing.
Can you back? What is bison's?
I think it's
ceviche?
exactly what
I mean,
it sounds
it's raw
like.
bison and you squirt some lime or lemon juice on it and you're like, eat it up, man.
There you go.
I think sushi's just like
How's it taste?
a
I've never had it. Fuck
hoity-toity.
that shit.
Oh. Where'd you hear it?
I saw it on the YouTubes or something.
Oh, man.
Man, this took some weird turns already.
Yeah.
Anyways,
In summation, sushi is bullshit.
no, I will not. I will not
Just
consent.
throw it in a bowl, you assholes.
That makes me legit mad that he would even say that. Anyways, no feedback today.
Yeah.
We didn't do a show last week. Like I said, they did a lovely little Overcooked 2 stream instead. So instead of doing feedback tonight, I do want to just remind everybody that for next week, if you want to chime in about anything we're going to talk about tonight, leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com on the post for this episode, and we will address it at the start of next week. Couple other little things. One, of course, if you are new, please check out our Discord, discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you in there. All kinds of fun shit happening in there on a daily basis. We do have official channels in there now for Game of Thrones and Star Wars and Avengers Endgame. All kinds of stuff happening. It's a very exciting time to be alive, all right?
Yes.
Also, of course, if you want to support us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/4player. And we are still accepting questions for the podcast tonight because, as Nolan pointed out right before we started recording this, we had no questions for the show. And I think that's already been taken care of slightly.
It's remedied.
So
We're good.
We're pulling in questions. So if you want to do that before the second segment, feel free to do
No
so.
feedback and no questions. I feel like that's a message in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, what are you saying, Brett?
And my answer to your question/feedback is fuck you.
Fair enough. And last thing I want to pimp is last week before I went on vacation, Krispy and Ed joined me for a bonus podcast where we talked about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Did you finally finish that?
No.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's the same answer he had on the actual podcast.
I don't want to upset anyone here.
I could have been on that show. And
I don't wanna upset
anyone.
anyone.
That's usually prefaces anything you're about to say that's going to upset someone
But
in
that
this
was
room.
some bullshit.
What was some bullshit?
You,
Oh, but Krispy not finishing it?
no. You're like, I don't want to spoil anything for Crispy. Man, fuck y'all.
What?
I listened to like the first 10 minutes of that podcast.
We
and
got spoilery.
okay, but people were still being too nice to Crispy about not
Hey,
spoiling
bitch,
stuff.
we had a
I didn't get that far. I still got it on my phone though.
you piece of shit. We had questions that we went through from supporters on Patreon, and we moved through it. We got to the more spoilery stuff towards the end.
Did y'all ever figure out like how close he actually was to the
Yeah,
video
he's
game?
like on the. He has like. He could probably like within like an hour, maybe two.
Are you doing the
finish-
missions with the
Bitch, and you
engines?
knew that too.
Are you doing the missions with the engines?
The last thing he did was I think where he said, "Oh God,
I don't think that's cool.
I don't think you can say that.
It's alright, I'm 1/16 Cherokee.
oh my God, what just happened? I'm slowly catching up.
Is that anything?
I'm slowly catching up. Oh my God.
Are you running for president?
All
I'm sorry. This is-
all I'm saying,
I'm officially announcing my run for Democratic
President.
nominee.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm okay.
21.
All I was trying to get out there was that we recorded
I'm going home.
we recorded a bonus podcast. We talked all about Red Dead Redemption 2. Finally, there are spoilers. If you haven't finished it, there are spoilers, but whatever. Just listen to it anyways. It was a great conversation.
Who
I had a lot
cares?
of fun talking about it. It's now available for everybody. Go check it out. Without further ado, let's get into it. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. It's been 2 weeks since I've done a podcast, and I always forget how to do this. So let's just
We just talk about video games.
talk
Nick.
about stuff. What should we talk about? We have so many impressions and so many news things to talk about this week. I don't know where to start. We could start with wait, were you gonna say something?
I can start.
All right,
I'm
Nolan,
super ready to go.
start us off.
Which means I think I can also.
Brad and I have been playing a game.
Yes, you
Not
have.
together, but the same game.
Of course not.
I'm glad that the podcast didn't happen last week because by waiting a week to talk about this game, no one's had a chance to play.
That's true. That's true.
I've been playing this for
Glass half
some
full.
time
Glass
now.
half full.
Supraland. is a game that Brad and I have been playing.
Yep.
From Supra Games, I believe is their studio.
Wait, is it Supraland from Supra Games?
I think so. Yeah.
They've put out one game before called Supra Ball.
I think maybe
They're sticking with a theme, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe they love the Toyota Supra.
Yeah. This is a 3D Metroidvania game that's all about puzzles.
Yeah,
I like puzzles.
and exploration.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. It's one of those games where whenever I turn a corner, I get upset because there's so much shit I can see that I'm like, fuck, I gotta fucking look at every corner.
So it's kind of like The Witness, where you look out and you start seeing line puzzles off in the
not
distance?
necessarily. It's more so that, like, around every shadow of every corner, there could be a secret hidden.
Yeah.
And so you literally have to check every wall, every crevice, like everything.
This is the upgrade I was talking about, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I just
You
recently...
look at the world differently now.
Oh, yeah. I recently got an upgrade that, I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but it makes you have a magnetic ability where you can interact with metal and you can kind of cling to it. So if there's like a tall piece of metal, you can just go up it. And so, yeah, it adds a new level of verticality to the game because now you can access a lot of new areas. And it's one of those games, similar to any kind of Metroid game or Castlevania before, where the more upgrades you get, you end up, kind of backtracking to areas you've already been before and kind of just opening up new paths and exploring new options and, breaking down literal walls.
I will say this: when you describe it as like a Metroidvania, and then you look at the game in motion, it's very different than what you might expect because it looks very open.
Oh,
Like,
no, it's
Very
extremely open.
but it's like dense.
It's like if you were
like,
running
this
around.
is such a dense Metroidvania.
It's funny because if you watch one of the original trailers for this game, it shows how one of the things that games have kind of toted before is the size of the world, and it's like, oh, Skyrim is this big, and GTA is 300 miles and all this stuff, and then like Supraland is like 9 kilometers. It's actually like a really small world, but it is so densely packed with shit that like you can spend I want to say like 6 or 7 hours in, and I'm maybe like 40% done with the game.
Yeah, it is meaty.
Yeah,
Especially for a game. How to get those coins over there on that roof?
No, I've not figured that out yet.
Did you get the ability? Okay,
hold on, real quick. I just want to say,
shoot coins.
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
This game, similar to like Stardew Valley, 100% developed by one guy.
Yeah,
This is one guy developing this game.
It's very so. How first of all, like art direction wise,
you're in like a sandbox.
Yeah,
you're in like
you'll see me every once in a while look up and you'll see like a kid in the because you're like, this is a kid's imagination of what's going on. So he's like playing in his sandbox.
Oh.
And he's like, setting up the stuff. And
I
so,
was wondering what the actual conceit was.
Yeah, so this is all taking. So you'll see right here. I don't know. I think this area might be a secret.
There's so many secrets.
Oh yeah, like you'll constantly get like pop-ups. It's like, oh, secret
You know
found.
what's cool about
But
the secrets?
what are they? Is it stuff like cool
Like
stuff?
upgrades. Like some of them are like surprising upgrades. Like I just asked Nolan if he has the ability to shoot coins to collect them. I think that was like an ability I just found in a random chest by like poking around like edges and crevices that I had no idea would even lead to secrets. And there are so many secrets, and it's the kind of thing of like, oh, I bet I can get up here. What if I climbed up on that thing
And then
you
you
triple
spend
jumped over there?
You spend like 15 minutes trying to get to like a little section.
And you're like, I'm not supposed to be up here. And then you find a chest, and you're like, oh, they knew I would get up here.
Yeah.
And like that's a good fucking feeling.
So you'll see me a lot in this footage, just kind of trying to get to places because it's like that's what this game is.
Yeah, it's really satisfying too.
The characters remind me of Gumby.
A
little bit.
They're like stick figures, like toys.
Yeah.
Oh man, and the puzzles are like well done and tricky.
Dude, there was one, and you missed it, Brett. So in the section where you get the magnetic ability, there was this one room I got to, and I swear to God, on the feed, go back and look at the the video. What's it called?
The VOD.
The VOD. I spent like 45 minutes, an hour, trying to figure out this one puzzle, and Beck in chat was like, "What if you tried this?" I'm like, "That's stupid." Fuck me.
There's
like
a
that
lot
was the
of
solution.
aha moments,
yeah, and it just completely changed how I looked at the puzzle. Like I just didn't realize because at one point, you just have the game starts out super simple. All you can do is jump, and you're really slow.
Watch this. Watch the footage because I want to talk about this as a talking point.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely a talking.
Oh
point.
well, okay, yeah. Here
Maybe not this one, but there's definitely more.
Okay.
So this is actually right here where I'm at. This is where you start the game. It's like this little starter village, and you're kind of slow, and you only jump at like a small distance and stuff like that. And you start collecting coins, and you go to merchants. They're like, hey, buy an upgrade, and you buy the upgrade. And it's like, oh, now you can double jump. oh, now you can triple jump. And like triple jump just expands so much how far you can go distance-wise when you're jumping. So it completely you'll see like this giant gap, and it's like a ridiculous length, and it's like, no, you can make that. Like it's like pretty impressive how far you can get. And that, like I said, that just completely changes things.
What green thing did you put in there?
The leaves from the tree.
You can take those off?
No, all you do, and that's the thing. There's another area, and that was one of the coolest things I found, was you interact with this device, and all it does is paint things. Whatever you put on there, it paints it, and you can just put anything in there. And I noticed that if you knock into a tree, some leaves fall off, and they'll fall into it. Yes, it's shit like that. So I just got an upgrade in this game, like a permanent upgrade to myself, because I knocked some tree leaves into a bucket and I put some water in there and drank the juice that came out. I don't remember. It's like health or something like that. I think I got like 5 extra health.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, dude, like literally every inch of this game has secrets and like little puzzles and like jokes. It's a lot of obviously it's a guy who loves the video game like industry in the world, so he's constantly making references to other games and stuff. You know, I found an adventurer with a sword and he had like a little like green like cap and stuff like that, and you find a guy in a locker room who's talking about, yeah, you can just grab them anywhere, it doesn't matter, they'll let you do it. And I started beating the shit out of him. Unfortunately, you can't kill them. Too. Yeah, I did. For beating him up, you get an achievement.
I'd play this,
dude. This game's fucking delightful. And like,
are you doing secret? I don't want to watch your footage.
No, that's not a secret. I was like, once again though, I'm searching every fucking inch of this world for secrets.
So it's like a densely packed world. And what's I've been in there with it. What's great is like one of my favorite things that might seem like kind of stupid. It's the fast travel system.
Oh yeah.
You turn on like these like man cannons, these like leap pads. And they literally just shoot you across the world.
So you can see everything.
All the way across the world.
You can
so
see
you're
areas
just
you've been to.
The whole world. You're way up above the sandbox, and you can see stuff and like
you can see areas you haven't been here. Like, oh shit, look at that.
Yeah.
You obviously can't like.
No, so the thing is, the fast travel paths, there's two different kinds. There's blue ones that when they launch you, they don't launch you very far, but you can kind of control your trajectory, and you can jump and stuff. The red ones, as soon as you interact with them, you can't do anything until you land. But like those are the ones that they use to fast travel you around the world.
And there's no map, so you can use those to like get a lay of the land.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of like having stuff on the horizon too. Like a lot of it involves like getting to these like different colored crystals, and you could see these giant crystals on like the kind of the skyline off in the distance, and it's like generally I need to head in that direction.
Because a lot of the time that's
like
your
like
objective.
Zelda, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey, get to the blue crystal and stuff like that, and so you can see where it is off in the distance. You're like, well, how do I get there?
And they have like signage and stuff, and you're unlocking like tons of shortcuts, and like some of those are like really well done. It's
there's a lot of
I'm seriously impressed by this.
There's a lot of really unique and innovative like puzzle mechanic like this. I had seen early in the game, but I was like, oh, I don't know what that is. But now that I'm farther, I'm like, oh shit, I do have this ability. It's like a stomp. You have to stomp on these things, and so now I was able to get in this room and get an upgrade for my stomp.
Stomp damage.
Yeah, so I mean, there's always kind of stuff like that, and it's 100% Metroidvania. It's just like you see something, similar to like Shadow Complex. You see a blue wall, you don't know how to interact with it. Later on, you can upgrade. I guess in Shadow Complex, like a green wall you can hit with a grenade.
Yeah.
But you don't have grenades. So later on, when you get grenades, you're like, oh shit, I remember seeing that one wall there and that one thing here. But the thing is, it's always that situation of, do I have the ability I need now, or do I not? And there's a couple of times where the game straight up tells you, it's like, hey, by the way, you don't, like, there'll be a guy physically standing there, and he'll be like, you don't have the ability to do this area.
Yeah.
Like, I promise, just come back.
But I feel like if that guide wasn't there, it's kind of like, well, you may not have it, but there's also probably other ways of getting to it.
But not necessarily.
Some you can't. Beaten this challenge.
No. Oh no. You're about to see me try and do a challenge and miserably fail at it because I had no idea what I was doing.
I think that's like a late game.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But yeah, so it's one of those things where that area it was talking about, literally you could not do because there was something like you physically can't do it without an upgrade that you'll get later.
I will say though, there is like some slight sequence breaking. You can do some stuff to like get places you're probably not supposed to get yet, to get like secrets and stuff, which is good, and it's very true to Metroid.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like bomb jumping and stuff.
But like, there's also like, you'll see on the left hand, I have these two little like halfway up the screen, these two little like collectibles. I have no fucking idea what those are for. I've been like collecting shit throughout this game.
The moons, yeah,
the moons. I have no idea what the moons are for. And I have like a little fossil
super secret collectible. Oh, the fossil thing is from like a little side quest that you took.
Why is there a
near the
saw
red
in
crystal?
this kid's
There's a dude looking for
sandbox?
shells.
Look at
That-
he took his dad's
It's
saw.
why is it pointed straight up? If that kid falls over, he's gonna hurt himself.
Yeah,
Which
that
is
seems
cool because you
dangerous.
see like these tools and stuff all over the environment, but you're sort of not, you don't really like pay them much mind. But then you get this ability to like turn on your little magnetic belt, and all of a sudden you're kind of like looking at the environment differently and going like, oh, I could get there, which is really cool because I didn't even think I could possibly get there before. But now I have this ability that's kind of outside the box, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool sensation. Like, this game's really remarkable, like, from a design perspective. I think maybe the look of it, you know, I guess
gonna
that
turn some people off.
might turn some people off. But if this looked like fucking Metroid, people would be losing their minds over this.
Early
thing.
on, one of the reasons I knew about this game, but the visuals kind of turned me off a bit.
Yeah, Carlos sent me a
And-
trailer, and I was like, "What is this Minecraft?"
It wasn't until I actually started paying attention to the actual gameplay elements that I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually
Is
kind of
that damage numbers?
Yeah, no, there are
yeah.
damage numbers. Like I got an ability that you can, by default, you normally just shoot like a ball out of your gun, but now when you shoot the ball, if you hit it with like a laser, it'll
I'm
cause an
bad at it,
explosion. And I'm doing poorly with it at the moment. But this is a kind of a challenge. I didn't know what it was until I encountered. So you're going to see me fail at it
It's
eventually.
actually hard.
But there's these two orbs that seems like you get to protect. The enemies are just trying to attack the orbs.
Yeah.
And I guess I just don't really have enough upgrades to kind of handle these guys right now. And so you'll watch me fail.
Are you
at
playing
it.
with the mouse?
Yes.
Okay, that must be why. So, yeah, I've been playing from my couch. So I'm using a controller, and I'm terrible with this
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
the
Yeah.
beam.
Any first person game I play like this, I'm gonna play with mouse and keyboard just because it's easier.
Yeah, like so there's some like production value things that I think might, you know, like I said, the look of the game, which, you know, it is stylized. In fact, I have actually find it really charming, but, you know, I could see it maybe being a turnoff for some people. The other thing is like the music is just seems so like quiet or non-existent.
It's kinda hit and
most of the
miss.
time that I've made my own playlist for this game, which is kind of like, you know, like Wild Arms music and kind of westerny stuff, the video game westerny stuff that I've been using as a soundtrack.
I will say that
It's one guy.
some of the
sound
effects are really cool, but then some of them kind of get annoying.
like the jump is
the jump
annoying.
gets pretty obnoxious
The
because
double
you
jump.
are constantly jumping in this
Yeah.
game, and there's no right now to turn it off. I guarantee you at some point in
What does it
time.
sound like?
Like,
So his initial jump is like a, but then his like other jump, it sounds like almost like a burst of like kind of air.
I think it's supposed to be like a nod to like Samus's from Metroid
Probably.
Prime, but like it sounds terrible.
But
and like I want to mod it so badly to have like Samus sound effects. I'd be losing my mind. Yeah.
But yeah, so
looks really cool.
No, it definitely is. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how.
How much is it?
It's addictive. This game is
20?
really
20
addictive.
bucks?
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah, it's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
It's not like I said. I'm like 6 hours in. It says 40% is what my thing says. I don't want to say I'm 100% this game, but I definitely spend a lot of time in every area, just kind of exploring around. And I just recently got to an area where it's a new town. You encounter lots of little villages throughout it, and each one has their own unique kind of, you know, a lot of them are kind of video game related.
Last barrel.
That's I looked it up. That's that challenge. You gotta do that challenge to get it. There's, like I said, lots of video game references. You'll constantly be encountering people who will, you know, either reference another game or kind of that's kind of like a clue. You know, there's one guy who was like, "Hey, my pickaxe sucks. If you get me a diamond pickaxe that won't break, like Minecraft, I'll let you go hang out in my backyard where I have a bunch of crystals."
Do you
But-
do the sleep pad here?
No, I can't figure this one out. And so, oh shit! I just noticed something. Ooh, okay.
Focus, guys.
Sorry, I
Focus.
just noticed carrots, and carrots are like a clue that I just got into the area I'm in right now. So anyway, but yeah, and so like I was like, well, I found a pickaxe, but it's not a diamond. But I found one of those little like things that you can paint stuff on. So I put some blue stuff in there and then painted the axe blue. And he's like, oh, thanks for the diamond pickaxe, even though it's just like a painted pickaxe. And there's like segments where there's like card keys, and it's like, oh, you need a red card key, so you just find a white one and you paint it red. And it's like, yeah, that one's good. Like it's like stuff like that. It's really like
That's
goofy
clever.
and kind of, yeah. As soon as I kind of figured out. How like the paint kind of mechanic that, you know, like I said, there's only certain elements where that comes into play. As soon as I figured out how that worked, it like kind of changes your
like,
way how you see the world.
When you needed like to paint something pink, and you're like, "There's no pink flowers." Like, oh, my cube is pink. I'll just shove my cube in here.
Yeah. Wait, you know your cube's purple, right? Not pink.
Oh, same shit.
It's like a fuchsia.
You say same shit. Does the game think it's the same shit? I think that's what really matters.
But yeah, so yeah, this is. I don't think we can do this. I mean, probably. I guess seems like where you're at right now, and I was trying to figure it out. Like I said, every time I know I've passed something that I couldn't solve, I always like when I get a new ability, I just run back and I'm like, "What can I do it now? Can I do it now?"
I figured
as of
that.
right now, this one I can't currently
But
do.
that
so.
leap pad is a fast travel.
So you.
point.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Well, then if you activate that, you can ricochet your gun off of it.
That-
Because you can ricochet your blast off of a leap pad. You can.
Oh, so maybe you just haven't turned on that leap.
Correct.
pad
I need to
yet.
figure out how to turn it on.
All right, guy.
But yeah, so I mean, it's Supraland. Like we were saying, it's only $20. This is definitely a game it's one of those indie games. So first of all, support it because it's an indie developer. But secondly, it's just a fantastic game.
This is like
This is
super
gonna
be-
dark horse.
I can already tell this
game
is
great.
going to be secretly. It's gonna be one of those like kind of sleeper hits that gets a lot of
Yeah.
attention
Oh,
towards the end of the year.
definitely.
It looks really
Yes.
cool. It's funny. This is in a short effort to transition a little bit. You were talking about how you get new abilities and then you kind of see the world differently and that kind of thing, and it made me think of Breath of the Wild again because that game is very similar in terms of like how you getting new things changes the way you see everything. And when I was on my trip, I popped in Breath of the Wild to play the DLC, and I haven't played much of it. It's like one of the last things I actually started on my Switch while I was gone. But
Which one did you start with?
well, you do the season pass, right, and it gives you like a whole bunch of shit. So it
Correct.
gives you the trials, it gives you the Champions Ballad story DLC, and then it gives you like a bunch of like secret items that are just now hidden.
Did
in
you
the world.
review your hero's path?
Yes, I
Dude,
did.
that's fucking excellent. Just watching yourself like go around and like die and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It's
That's
pretty.
everything.
It's pretty cool. But like,
I'm so glad I waited to finish that game after that first DLC came out.
Yeah.
And I could explore using the hero's path to determine where I have and haven't been.
Yeah.
it seems very helpful in a world that size. But I popped it in, and I was just, before I decided to do the actual like bulk of the DLC, I was like, I'm gonna try and get some of these secret items, like the saddle for the horse, and the thing that lets you summon them from anywhere, and that kind of thing. And I went and I found one of these treasure chests, right? And first of all, it reminded me just how fucking brilliant that game is in terms of like, all it tells you is like, it gives you a hint, like there's a mountain somewhere, and there is a cherry blossom tree at the base on the mountain, and the chest is underneath that tree.
I know exactly where that is.
So that entire thing, I was just like, that's all it's going to give me. I just got to go find a mountain with a cherry blossom tree on it, and I spent like, it was just like a 2-hour adventure of just trying to find this cherry blossom tree, and I finally found it. And then I spent like...
Is that the one that has like the little pond by it?
Yeah. And then I spent like 2 hours because I was like, how the fuck do you get this chest out? And this game is so dense. I spent so much time playing it, and then I took such a long break. I completely forgot how the fucking game
the
worked.
magnet?
I forgot the magnet existed. I'm sitting here for like 30 minutes trying to get this fucking chest out of the ground, and I ended up looking up and was like, oh fuck, I have a magnet.
Yep.
Damn it. That game is fucking brilliant,
Yeah,
though.
some of them,
fucking brilliant.
like the water one, you use so like infrequently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's called the water pillar.
Yeah,
ice-
the ice
yeah,
pillar.
ice
yeah,
pillar,
So
yeah.
you forget sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, it's so fucking cool, man. I love that game. Anyways, that wasn't my real transition. I do want to talk about another new game. Krispy and I, at least, has anyone else played Mortal Kombat? No, not yet.
No.
Krispy and I started Mortal Kombat 11, which came out the other day. Krispy, have you been mostly playing story, or what's your approach to this?
I've just been playing the story right now, just because that seems to be the best way to get stuff.
To unlock
Just
stuff.
say you care about the lore.
I do, kind of. I didn't until I started playing this game.
I mean-
and then I was like, finally, Mortal Kombat is dumb enough that I like it. Like,
It is so like I didn't. I've always been one of these, like, how the fuck do you do a story like in a fighting game, right? And then
yeah,
I
you
played
just stop giving a fuck.
I played Injustice, and I thought it was kind of cool, but still kind of stupid. And then I
By
played,
the way, what a fucking jerk off that, like,
that a potion
this
belt?
chapter is called Shaolin Monks.
Yeah.
And that's, like, what we thought was, like, we're like, oh, there's a Shaolin Monks mode. No,
And
it's
then there's
just one
probably
chapter.
stuff from the crypt that made people think there'd be like a third-person action.
Yeah, so, like, the crypt is, we'll talk about the crypt, but,
Yeah.
it is different.
You said the
But
crypt's
yeah,
different?
you get, huh?
You said
Yes.
the crypt is
That's what he
different.
was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the story is just kind of like the quickest way to get coins, which is like, okay. to give you a little bit of background, I was really into Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Which
I remember.
also was real big on like character customization.
Yeah.
On like unlocking bits of armor for everybody. So that was what I was really, really excited about for Mortal Kombat 11, seeing like how much of that made it over. It feels a little bare bones compared to what was going on.
Really?
Only because, okay, I don't know. Bare bones is maybe not the right way to say it, but like only because in Injustice, you were literally like every character had like legs, chest armor, head armor, like weapons, accessories, like had like 5 or 6, maybe even like 7 different like gear slots that you would get gear for and like switch them out, right?
That's when it's just 3.
In this one it's 3 that actually like have stats.
Yeah, head, torso, and lower.
It's like accessories. They all have like a special item, so like some characters will have hats, some characters will have masks, some characters will have, I don't know, like Kronika has like these weird backpack things that she wears. I don't know.
Cabal like has this like little tiny pack that sits on the back of his like on his back, just
Like
above
a fanny pack?
I mean, it kinda. It's right around his
In
belt
every
area.
sense
and
of
it's
the
like,
word.
oh my god, why can you customize that? Like, I never would even known it existed if you hadn't shown it to me in the character
Kronika.
customization screen.
Yeah.
Is her power smoke?
No, it's
right?
time.
She's got that fucking sweet chronic. But then you also get like skins. They also have just like full skins.
Yeah.
That kind of account for like the costumes and like, you know, what their heads look like or whatever.
Yeah.
So it like, I don't know, it feels a little bit like, because I just remember like all the different like Batman and like Flash and Green Lantern like kind of combinations I could come up with. And this one I haven't had much of an opportunity to play around with customization yet, only because I haven't unlocked a whole lot.
I think this is probably because I didn't mess around with much of the customization when I played Injustice 2, sadly. I did like that game a lot, but like I'm messing around with the character customization in this, and it's like overwhelming the shit out of me.
There's more in the way of
How is it overwhelming? In
Because
what
like
way?
when you go to like you open up Scorpion, right, and you could go by going through the crypt and unlocking things with coins and stuff. You can get like just his face mask alone. There's like 20 different versions of the face mask, and then there's
there's
like
a bunch,
and then
But how many
and
of them are actually worth it?
they all look pretty different. And the thing is, when you combine that with the number of like torso arrangements, you know, and like the different like legs that you can, or like the like pants you can put on them and stuff, like you can create like
so like Scorpion's items would be his mask, his spear, and his swords that he carries.
right, yeah. So the thing, like when he does the get over here and the spear comes out of his hand, you can totally customize the shape of that. There's like 20 different versions.
There's a
of
whole
that.
bunch of them.
It's tons of crazy
But like
shit.
more so, what is more customizable in MK11 than say like Injustice 2 is movesets.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole, like every character has a whole bunch of different movesets, and you can actually go through and customize like which special moves you want them to have.
Yeah.
Which kind of changes the way they play, which I guess is kind of like their take on, like, because what they used to do was they would have just like 3 different versions of each character. You know, like a character might have like a more defensive version, a more like offensive version, and like a more like kind of keep away.
Yeah.
I don't know what the FGC term would be, but
Chick so smart.
who, Kronika? Because she's like
She's the bad guy.
She's the bad
She's
guy.
the villain.
Was that Sector? I didn't know Sector.
Yeah. See, he's not playable.
Yeah, so like the whole
Cyrax
game,
and Sector are in the story,
It'll
but
probably be DLC.
you
I
fight
was gonna
them.
say they'll be playable at some point.
The
I mean,
DLC
character
list-
models-
the
they made
DLC
moves.
list, the DLC fighter list leaked, like all the DLC fighters. Are
Is
known.
Reptile on there?
I don't remember, but you know who is on there? The Joker.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, the Joker.
The
is one of
Terminator too.
The Terminator and
Ash?
no, not Ash.
You ass.
Wait,
No,
Ash
from Evil Dead.
I heard Ash. Yeah, I heard Ash. It makes sense, right?
There's another, but
Stop
no,
being
there's
an
another
asshole.
movie character. There's Terminator and I don't know. Someone
Oh, it was Fievel from Fievel
look
Goes
it
West.
up.
They should do T1000.
Fuck both of you and your stupid fucking faces. Yeah, I mean the whole like conceit of the story mode for this one is time is broken, so you get a whole bunch of different versions of like all the characters.
They're like interacting with younger versions of themselves, and like it is like so off the wall, kind of stupid, but like I'm fun.
It works for a lot of them. It kind of works though. Like there's some storylines going on that I'm like, I like this. Like I never gave a shit about Johnny Cage, but like seeing like old Johnny Cage and young Johnny Cage playing off each other, I'm like, okay, I'm into it.
Is Cassie Cage cool?
Cassie Cage, I think, is a lot cooler than she was.
Does she have a great voice actress?
She does, but you know who doesn't?
I know.
Sonya Blade.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God, Ronda Rousey is fucking
what? I didn't realize
terrible.
it was her.
No way, she's a bad actress.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey plays.
Ronda
Rousey plays Sonya Blade, and it's
Not good.
Fucking
More like
horrible.
Ronda Lousy.
Oh my God, like can't even begin to describe just how bad it is. And it's crazy because like all the other characters are just like played by normal voice actors.
Yeah.
And they're
so
fine.
like it's especially like glaring.
But you know what's kind of crazy to me? And this is maybe just because I haven't played.
Also, fuck Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
But like,
chemtrails killed all the kids at Sandy Hook.
Yeah,
fucking
she's got a lot. Not just that. She's got a lot. She's like a turf and everything. She's fucking terrible.
yes, and I think
Cool.
that came up on a recent podcast when they first announced this. Like,
Yeah.
I think that whole thing came up. It's fucked up.
I know,
But-
Ty. That's why.
But what's crazy to me? I started the story mode. I'm not super far. I'm like 3 chapters in, but like it's blowing my mind how much cutscene is in this game.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like-
I mean, it's got the exact same narrative style of like the 2 Injustice games and of MKX.
I put my
where it's just
controller down
kinda
for like
like-
10 minutes, 10 solid minutes.
No, it's kind of like I was having a thing last night where I was like, oh, I should eat dinner. Okay, after this fight, but like there's no natural break anywhere.
Yeah, it's all
just
very-
this like pulling you through the story, and I'm just like still fighting. Like, oh, okay, no, I gotta stop.
Which is kind of nice. Like,
but it's kind of engaging. Like the story's kind of cool. Like
I mean,
everyone's.
here's the thing. Like, as stupid as quote unquote, as stupid.
Look at these assholes. I love this. Sub-Zero and Scorpion. It's great. Oh, it warms my heart.
As stupid as
this.
like the story kind of gets. Like,
Starts and stays.
yeah, sorry, you're right. As stupid as the story is,
Because-
like it is fun. Like, and the cutscenes are genuinely well done. They're entertaining to watch. I feel like I'm watching a Fast and the Furious movie when I'm because
dude,
it's just like
yeah.
these crazy action scenes
To the
and like people are
extreme.
getting fucking obliterated. And you're having these fun dialogue between characters or between like he said, like having having Johnny Cage.
It's
working
funny
with
how many
older Johnny
different.
Cage. It works great.
It's like funny how many different contrivances they can come up with to just like set up one-on-one fist fights between these characters.
Yeah.
You know, like there'll be a whole scene of like army dudes shooting at each other, and then it'll come down to like Johnny Cage and Sector like fighting.
Yeah,
like,
you're just kind of like, how is this going to
like-
lead to a Mortal Kombat fight? But it always
funny.
does. You know what? The funniest one is like literally the first fight they give you in story mode is like it's like a promotion ceremony for Cassie Cage, right? And like the last test she has to do before they give her a promotion in the in this military.
She has to fight the CO.
She has to fight the CO, which is Sonya
Sonya.
Blade. And you go into this fight with Sonya Blade, and it's like military talking to their commander, right? And they go into this thing, and then you just fucking like murder them. You know, you're
just,
doing
like,
these fights where
wailing
you're
on
like
each
sticking knives through their fucking eyes and stuff, and you're just like, oh my
it's-
god, that's
it
her
is.
mother, first of all.
Someone on Twitter described Mortal Kombat as a ludonarrative dissonance to the game, and it's like definitely that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's fun as hell. Like I'm really enjoying the story mode so far. Like to the point, like I liked Injustice 2 a lot, but it didn't quite hold me long. Like by the way, that's fucked up. It didn't hold me. Like I eventually fell off of it. And I feel like this has a really nice natural like pull to it. It's really fun to watch, and of course,
It's
fighting
like
is fun,
Westworld, but dumb. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the story mode. I'm having a lot of fun with the game in general. It does feel a little slower, maybe, than previous NetherRealm fighting.
Are you talking about in
games.
terms of like the actual
like the
character movement and
controls? Like
controls?
everything feels a little.
It does a
more,
little bit.
Like
They slowed down the jump significantly. I heard.
yeah, but you know what? I was going through the tutorials, and one thing I really liked. I don't remember this being in other NetherRealm games. Maybe it is, so correct me if I'm wrong. But they have a lot of really good tools in the tutorial section for like finally learning how to like do combos and shit, which is something I've always had a hard time with, was like timing on like how quickly should I be pressing these buttons.
How does their tool work?
So like basically that you they will show you like a specific combo on screen, and they'll have all the buttons up on screen. And when you start the combo, it has timers for each button input of like how long you have to get to the next button to continue the combo.
They also do stuff like explain kind of the basics of like fighting game.
There's a lot of
philosophy
information
that applies to like all fighting games. You know, like frame data and like what does it mean when a move is like in recovery? Like
there's
when a movie has like bad recovery versus good recovery.
Gotcha.
There's a whole thing like in your when you're looking at your move list, every move has like a card with it that like tells you all the like frame data for it and everything, like how many frames it takes to get the animation started, like how you
like
can,
they explain what like a frame trap is.
Yeah,
you know,
stuff I don't even understand. But it's all like it like all of the nuts and bolts, like all the mechanics of the game are like fronted for you to like see all the numbers of exactly how it works, instead of like waiting for the YouTube community to just like time it all out in a couple weeks.
Well, Krispy, a frame trap is when you do a move that makes you think that your opponent, it's their turn, but it's not, because you've used a move that put them at like negative frames. So if they were to press a button after they got hit with that move,
They get punished.
what you did would like beat that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So it's like you do this move, which is usually like punishable or like slow to start up or whatever. And if they're like mashing the buttons, you're gonna get, that's the kind of thing. So it's like setting up a trap.
Interesting. It's pretty cool. This is the new version of Frost. She's evil still, but kind of cool.
She's an Alyssa knockoff from Tekken, it looks like.
But with ice powers and
She's
time travel.
cold-hearted.
Yeah, she literally, like, when she finishes a fight, she pulls out, like, the ice core out of her chest and everything.
Her fatality is, like, random, though, right? She, like, puts her head in a robot suit.
She does a lot. One of them, one of her fatalities, she'll, like, freeze you and cut you open and leave just your skull and your spine, and then she'll take that and put it in one of those, like, Lin Kuei cyborgs. Yeah.
I call it.
Oh, I thought you were saying she put her head in a robot. No.
Your head in a robot.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. You were mumbling. I couldn't hear you, Brad.
Sure.
But yeah, it's pretty fucking violent. Some of the fatalities get like real elaborate.
I mean,
with,
it's
like
Mortal Kombat,
the scenes, so. Like, yeah, it's great. Johnny Cage has got one where he fucking rips you in half and then uses your top half as a puppet.
Nice.
And he like does a little comedy bit.
Of course he does.
You know what I like about the fatalities in this game, though?
What's
And maybe
that,
maybe they had this in previous ones that I'm just not remembering, but like they have a fatality like training mode.
Yeah.
Where literally it just tells you how to do each of the fatalities. And you also unlock new fatalities as you move through the crypt and stuff, which is cool. So it gives you incentive to keep moving through there.
Talk about the highly controversial crypt.
So the crypt has always been probably my favorite thing about Mortal Kombat since Deadly Alliance, and in this game it continues to take new forms as it goes from game to game. This one I'm kind of blown away by because this, unless I'm forgetting, this is like the first one in the series where you're literally moving through the crypt in like as a third person action game. Like you're physically, instead of being on a track, you are running around this world and finding all the chests and unlocking them. There's puzzles scattered throughout them too. Like,
how far have you gotten in the crypt?
I'm only in like the second area, I think, where they give you a hammer that you can like bust down walls.
Oh yeah, so like the whole thing is that's actually Shao Kahn's hammer. The crypt is Shang Tsung's island.
Yeah.
Which is the setting of like the original Mortal Kombat. So it's kind of cool because while you're moving around, you're actually going through like all of the original Mortal Kombat stages.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what all this is. So like that first area with like all the like monk mummies like in the courtyard, like that's like the courtyard fight. There you go to the bridge, you go underground to like that throne room where Goro sits.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gotten to the acid pond yet, but I'm pretty sure that's around there somewhere. But yeah, it's like it's all like it is all of the locations of Mortal Kombat in one contiguous like space is Shang Tsung's island. It's pretty
I think cool. I think it's really cool. One thing that kind of
it does like as a like I don't know. Like, there was a lot of talk about the Crypt being like an adventure game kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that.
No, it's
I
pretty.
mean-
At its core, you're still just running around unlocking chests.
Yeah, the
like,
most puzzly...
there are few cool things. Like, you have this, like, weird puzzle where you have to, like, spin these dials to, like, match this corpse,
Oh, I
like,
haven't
the piece
done
of the
that.
corpse up, and that unlocks a new chest that you then have to use coins to open. But one thing, so like in previous games, you would unlock a chest in the crypt, and it would pop up with one thing. Like, you'd pay like, I'm gonna pay 5,000 coins, and it's like, here, have this piece of concept art, have this new costume for this character or whatever. In this, I feel like it's a little less satisfying because you open it up and it gives you 3 things, but they're like these super small icons, and half the time I don't even know what I'm getting. Because a lot of times they're just things that you can use to customize all these different characters. Half the time I can't even tell what character they're for. I'm just like, oh, I unlocked a thing for a character somewhere. So in that sense, I feel like it's a little less satisfying, but it's giving you more stuff.
It says.
Yeah, but it's there, and then I don't know, I feel like it's
like,
gone so fast.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it's kind of simplistic. I mean, you're doing those little puzzles and you're going around, and every once in a while you'll get like a new item that lets you unlock
This is the
new
customization
things.
screen.
So like, so far I've gotten Shao Kahn's hammer, I've gotten Scorpion's spear, and I've gotten Ermac's medallion.
So do these customized
amulet.
characters, does it show up in like the cutscenes and stuff like that, or they rendered in engine? Or
Well, the thing is, when you play the story, you're playing as a set character. These are pretty much, unless I'm
Gotcha.
mistaken.
This
you're
is like for, yeah.
yeah. So these are the characters you would take online or play.
my only
tower
problem
modes.
with this kind of character creator is like you don't really get to see your character that much. It's one of those things where you're like, you're upgrading all these little details and changing all these little aspects, and like you don't.
You probably see him more than you realize because
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty like
That's what he looks like when you're fighting.
But I'm
Like,
saying I'm not staring at my character when I'm fighting. I'm kind of looking at the other guy. And I'm not really looking. Oh, he's got a cool mask. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna attack. I gotta dodge. I gotta do this.
And also, like, a part of the customization thing, in addition to just changing the way that there's like the aesthetics on the character, there's also like you can unlock new opening and finishing animations. Like
That's cool.
when the match
taunts
starts
and everything.
Yeah.
when the match starts, there's these really elaborate
yeah, when they're
cutscenes.
walking in and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
you
or
can
whatever,
unlock
yeah.
different versions of those.
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean,
un-
it's just like,
and that's probably where you see
Injustice
them
in
the
that
most.
regard.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I mean, in Injustice, you had like comic book history through some of that stuff, right?
The one thing that kind of
Here, it's kind of like, right? Isn't some of the stuff you unlocked in like Injustice were like different pieces of different outfits from
existing outfits from comics.
most of it was.
all original?
I mean, I think the
original
idea
stuff.
here is that like
Some of it
over
was,
time,
or some of it would be like loosely based on shit. But I mean, I guess it's just like if you're talking about a character like Batman, he's probably got a shit ton of different costumes throughout history that you can pull from.
Probably.
But then you're talking about a character like Aquaman, and he really doesn't. But they both have like an equal number of like customizable gear.
I got it. It just, I just
Yeah.
like changing Scorpion's sword doesn't seem all
But-
that cool to me.
I mean,
But
I think
I
the
think
idea
it's
is
pretty
there's so
cool,
many different
but
combinations of.
I'm a
the
pretty big
mask
sucker
and-
for character customization.
But it's not. It goes beyond just the smaller things like that. You're talking about legit costume changes, color changes, things like that. And like at the end of the day, you're the idea is that when you're playing online against other people, you're going to be playing all different kinds of versions of the character. So it's not like it's like every time you start up a new match, it's kind of like, oh, what am I going to get today? Like what did this person create?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That was
I
kind
like
of a cool
that.
thing, like in like Injustice. I don't know if they have that in this yet. I haven't checked all the options, but I remember there was one in Injustice where you could set it so that every time you did just like regular like versus matches, it would completely randomize both characters' appearance, and you would get like some weird like combinations of shit that were
Yeah.
like really fucking cool.
well, in Tekken, you can get a shower head that hangs over your character and showers on them, so they're always wet.
What?
Weird.
Really?
That sounds weird.
What? But why would you want that, Brad?
So your character's wet.
Okay.
So they're slick.
You know.
Oh, so they're harder to grapple onto in combat.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, you got to lather up with some soap and water, and then they're hard to grab onto.
There actually is a character from Street Fighter who does that. Hakan, who oils himself up, and literally you're like, he has throws where you like, he slips out of your arms, or the other way around.
Mechanically, I will. Just two other things that I thought were kind of neat changes that kind of change how the whole thing works. Splitting the super meters between like offense and defense, I thought was a cool move. Because before you could use your super meter either to like do like more powerful versions of your special attacks, or like use them for like recovering and things like that. But then you were always running out of meter. Now having those as like 2 separate resources, I feel like kind of made that a little better. And instead of doing the like X-ray attack, like they used to have that other meter where you would like fill up, and then when it was full, you could do like that like cutscene attack basically. That was kind of neat. They had something like that in Injustice 2. It wasn't called X-Ray. It was whatever, like, their superpower attack was. But it also got a little lame when you were filling that meter up 2 or 3 times in a fight and then, like, kind of relying on it.
Yeah.
Now they've kind of relegated that to you can only do it once in a match, like, both rounds of a match, and you have to get to a certain, like, you have to have like 30% or less health to even be able to do it.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of balances it out a little better.
But it also makes it easier to turn the tide of a fight.
Right.
Really easy.
It's like a rage art in Tekken.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to keep playing it. One gripe I want to just throw out there, I do think it's kind of lame that like so many of these modes that I think are really cool rely on an online internet connection. Like when you boot this game up, there's so many different modes and things you can play. If you're not connected to the internet, you can pretty much only do story mode, and I think the towers.
Which is extremely... Not even the crypt.
You can't even go into the fucking crypt unless you have an internet
It's extremely stupid
connection.
because this game is on Switch.
Yeah. How does it work on the Switch? Does it work
Don't
the same?
play it on a fucking train. That's what...
That fucking sucks. But yeah.
Unless your train has Wi-Fi.
Unless the train has Wi-Fi. But
You probably have to pay for it.
you know, Crispy, you and I should have some matches. It'd be fun.
Oh, yeah? Are you sure you want
Are you
that?
playing on PS4?
Yes.
Well, how about we have some matches next
we
week?
were
But
originally-
apparently the netcode for the online multiplayer is like pretty good.
Sweet.
Like,
Yeah, I
there
think
hasn't
Mortal
been a lot of...
Kombat's had good netcode for a while.
Yeah.
We were originally going to do a Mortal Kombat night tonight, but since we didn't end up doing a show last week, obviously we're not doing that tonight. But we are going to maybe try and do some matches of Mortal Kombat before the show next week, so tune in for that. We still got a few more games to talk about. Brad,
Yeah.
do you care to talk about Dreams?
Sure.
I don't even know
what?
I don't even know where to start with this.
Little Big Planet.
Came out?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
out. It's out in early access,
Oh.
which means it's out. They just haven't put like the campaign in, basically.
How was it?
Well, we're gonna talk about it.
That's what
Right now, you're talking about it right now.
segueing into
Brad, was it all you dreamed?
So Dreams is basically Little Big Planet 3D, kind of. You know, it's what they've been working on forever since like Tearaway, I guess.
Yeah.
which was many years
And-
ago.
and you said-
that was like a VDEG launch game.
And
Yeah.
you said specifically that you're basically interested in just playing other people's creations, not actually doing the creation aspect yourself? Or
Yeah, but, I mean that's just kind of how it was.
I know,
when
honestly, I think most of us here in this room aren't really big into that aspect of the
Oh, yeah.
games. Anytime a game like Far Cry, sorry, not Far Cry, yeah, Far Cry 4 had that kind of like level design thing,
the
and I
level
kind of looked
editor,
at it and I was like, dude, fuck this. I don't have the time or patience for this. I'll find the cool levels
It's
that are
cool
highly
that other
rated.
people can do it.
Yeah, I'll find those really high rated stuff and I'll play with those, but I'm not going to do it on my own.
You know, I mean, hey, listen. Maybe Nolan's just saying that we're not creative, but
I don't think I'm saying we're not creative. I don't think we have the patience.
well,
The
yeah.
first thing that I saw from Dreams, creative, like that was posted from that was user created,
Yeah.
was the opening sequence, the opening scene of Silent Hill 2.
yeah.
And I was like, I thought I was looking at Silent Hill 2, and then I was like, this created in Dreams. I was like,
Yeah,
what
like
the
have you seen
fuck?
the PT demo? It's like
What?
like looks like fucking PT. It's
Somebody
crazy.
made
And-
Spider-Man, like the PS4
and the thing is, you
Spider-Man?
could put like your own audio in there. Like right now, only through mic stuff, but someone ripped the audio from PT, like
Yeah.
that's coming out of the radio, and put it in the Dreams level, and it's like I started getting legitimately scared.
Wow.
And I turned it off. I exited the level. I don't
quit
even
that
know if
level.
they put a ghost in there, but I was scared. So yeah, I haven't been messing with the creator.
But what's the breadth of content you've seen so far?
I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, the game's still early. There was a short beta, and then now it's out in early access. I mean, it's basically out you could buy it now
Right,
for
cars don't
$30,
go in
but
buildings.
when the game comes out, you just get the full version.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is going to be a $60 game when it launches, but if you're interested in it, you can play hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds of levels, which is where a lot of the value, or all of the value of Little Big... I mean, the Media Molecule campaign was good in Little Big Planet, but the reason you kept going back to Little Big Planet is because every, like, fucking month... You know, it was just shocking to see the advancement
Just a lot of new
the
content
creators,
and-
just like what they managed to like pull out of these tool sets.
It's a scenario where people find unique ways to use the tools that are available to them to create new, ways to interact with the world and new types of, things that you can do. It's one of those things where, at first, it's the same thing with like when VR first came out. Everyone was doing the same shit. It was all like kind of low, I don't say low brow, but very simple.
Yeah.
And then the more people kind
you
of
get that Mario 1-1 stage.
Exactly. You kind of like, oh, this is how I can use this kind of, either, putting the camera in a certain way or, just like using certain like objects to create different ways to interact. I don't know. It's one of those things where the longer it's out, the better it's going to be.
And the crazy thing is I'm sure they're probably going to continue to work on it.
Oh,
update
I
it,
think
but
they definitely will.
But like, just from the get-go, they don't even really need to add anything new to it. It's just over time, people learn how to use it
It's
differently.
like that. Like when you pop in, like when first time I played Little Big Planet was in the beta, right? And I was like, it was stunned, right? But like the coolest levels are when like, oh, this dude made fucking Sweet Child of Mine a Little Big Planet. It's fucking crazy. Or like, oh, there's a video of, a lot of that stuff went viral. Like this dude made a calculator, right? But then when you popped in like Little Big Planet 2, like 2 years after it was out, you turn that shit on and it was just like mind blowing stuff. It was crazy. And like you saw like legitimate like art and stuff. And and Dream's tool set is so much more robust than it was in Little Big Planet. That I think
at the end of the day, Little Big Planet was about making platformers.
I mean, the first one maybe, but like by the sequel, it got really crazy, and you started saying like, "Hey, I fucking made some weird FPS," and now, but that was all kind of like crazy hacks and stuff. Like the engine was never really designed to do that stuff, even though you saw trailers, right, for when Little Big Planet 2 came out I played this level way too long. Well, I do jump around a little bit, but I still have a few things to say here. They basically hacked what was a basic side-scrolling platformer to do some like crazy shit, and the tool set kind of allowed for that. And Media Molecule knew that, and they even made their own stuff that was crazy. But here, you legitimately just have the tools to kind of make the stuff that you had to like hack, to make work now. So you'll see stuff and I'm kind of just browsing here. So I didn't really know how to do this because I didn't want to just play stuff I had already seen before.
Why not?
But so
find a cool level, you show it off.
So like, and I never tried this level. So one of the issues I think this game has is the same problem like Little Big Planet had early on, in that the way of discovering new content, of which there is like so much, is a little busted, right? Because you can kind of like sort by like favorites and likes and stuff. But what happens is the stuff that's like really popular and viral, or like early on and like even the beta,
it sticks
even
around.
Before
Like,
it kind of sticks around.
It's hard to say that like, hey, this thing's really cool, but it's also like 8 months old now, and so maybe let's not focus on that one anymore and focus on some of the newer stuff that's coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While the cooler shit that's more recent is not going to have as much of the visibility. Or maybe like that video
it's that
didn't go viral.
catch-22. As soon as something becomes popular, it stays popular because more people see it and more people view it. And it gets more popular, and like
so like one of the more popular
going.
ones is like Mario 1-1 or whatever, which is never what's most interesting. The stuff that I always found most interesting in like Little Big Planet are like people that were like telling stories and shit.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I really like show that off in these videos, but that stuff is like most certainly there, and that's the stuff that's gonna get like legitimately crazy in like a month. 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Have you already had any memorable experiences?
Oh my god!
Stories?
Like abso-fucking-lutely, it's shocking some of the stuff I've seen. Like legitimate art. Like some of the levels aren't even levels. It's just like, dude, I spent hours and hours and hours like sculpting this face using like VR and like the moves or whatever, and like just look at it and like there's all these, and you could just like look at art and just be like kind of astounded.
So maybe this is an aspect of that I wasn't really aware of.
Like the music tools.
You can
are
use
robust.
VR to like create things. In this game?
I have not actually tried. I know there's supposed to be VR support. I mean, when first showed off Dreams, it was with
So,
VR.
So like how? Yeah, like how are like Mario at like?
this has straight up Mario assets in it, but
Yeah,
I'm
like
sure.
how are those?
No,
in the game?
those are
That's
created.
user created.
User created.
Okay, I know, but what I'm saying is, what the fuck does that mean? Somebody's just sitting there like making the little block tiles for for Mario
and
then
finding the exact
replicating
color
it
matches and,
then,
whatnot
like,
to make it look.
Here,
And then
check this
sculpting.
out. I mean, you could do menus. and
This
stuff.
this is
I've
really
seen
cool,
games that
but like I have
inventories.
absolutely no reference for like how any of this is getting made. So like I don't know what I'm fucking looking at.
So you can make menus and stuff. You can make music. You can make interfaces.
Yeah, but like
Crispy,
how?
it is essentially a tool to allow you to create a game of your choosing.
I know,
So
I know.
it's
but
an engine.
like,
It's an engine.
but like what like do you have any of that?
What does that mean?
Do you have any like can I see the tool set?
Crispy's
Can I see
asking
how
if
you're
you
making
created
it?
any
No.
levels.
I don't.
Like-
I mean, there's hours of tutorials you'd have to go through, and I didn't want to.
Brad, that's not what he's saying. He doesn't know what to experience. Doesn't know what it looks like. He doesn't know how it feels. No, Brad didn't do any of that. I guarantee
Yeah,
it.
there's
like I
footage
said,
out there.
it's one of those scenarios. Brad, that's not what he's talking about. It's one of those scenarios where, like I said, like I don't think Brad's going to interact with that medium because A, it's probably has a slight learning curve, and then B, like I said, I don't think any of us necessarily care to create something like that.
I mean, if I had to guess, it's a series of like basic shapes and colors that you can combine to make
No, I mean,
new shapes and colors that
I mean,
then
I
like
haven't,
get
like-
attached.
there's a
and grow
lot
into other
of stuff
things.
out there of people creating stuff, both Media Molecule and users. If you want to kind of see all how that stuff.
Maybe during the
works.
break we can pull up a video or something.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean-
genuinely curious to see what the tool set looks like too. Even though I know I'm probably never going to
So
use it.
so there's a couple of things here that might be adding to his confusion. First of all, is like when Little Big Planet came out, you had like those basic Medium Molecule like platforming levels, and that first Little Big Planet was a little simpler than the sequels, and it was like. Through playing that game, they were giving you the ability to kind of like bolt like textures onto things and like big leafy things. You could just attach it to a character and they're wiggling around and like, oh, like this is fun and accessible and easy. This either isn't really like that. They're not taking that sort of like fun to play and create as you play approach, or like that's not their goal here. Or we don't know if they plan to do that because they don't have a campaign yet.
I mean, are
So-
people just doing this with DualShock 4 controllers? Like
Like
someone sat there and made Mario assets with a controller.
So you can use DualShock 4 controller. You can use the Move controllers.
Really?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's probably just
that
like,
doesn't
the very
seem- that
first
doesn't
thing
seem like it would
they
be better.
ever showed of Dreams was someone sculpting something in 3D space, like literally at E3 using Move controllers.
and then so you would basically sculpt individual assets, and then you would save those
Check
assets.
this stuff out.
and
This is just a little scene that I don't have control over it. It slowly turns into
Starry Night.
yeah, Starry Night. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
cool.
I don't know if your mind is blown or you're just like frustrated, but like, or
I'm not
both.
frustrated. I just like I don't have any context for what I'm seeing. Like this is crazy. Like this is crazy. And every game you've played so far has been so completely different.
Let me ask you this: what's your history or experience with Little Big Planet?
I mean, I played the first one.
Okay, but like by the time Little Big Planet 2 came around, it was like you started seeing stuff like this, and people were creating short films and stuff in Little Big Planet. This is just
I've seen like some of the stuff people did in Little Big Planet, but like even this seems like
too specifically.
this doesn't even seem like
Here's the toilet simulator.
I don't know. Like this is weird. Like this is like
So I will say, like, kind of as a downside, there was like a cohesive sense of play of both playing and experiencing like the levels of like Little Big Planet, right? Where it was very easy to just kind of pop up your little screen and just start putting outfits on your character, just sticking shit all over the environment. I could put my face on something that was spinning, and all of a sudden I'd have a spinning face, right? And you can make expressions with your little character, right? There's a character you can control in this game, but it's not like Sackboy. So there's, even though some of the stuff you see is like impressive, I hit the fart button and it censored it out.
fuck.
yeah, I don't know how someone made this,
But,
but that sense of like playfulness to playing the games is kind of gone with this, and I think something a little bit is lost, and maybe that's why you're not seeing as many people kind of excited about this, even though ultimately you're going to see stuff that's way more impressive and like complicated and like full on games, you know, like. Oh, you're going to see that stuff, and it's going to be crazy. Like, look at this. Someone made this pool game. This is
like,
legitimately
there doesn't even
beautiful.
seem to be, like, a unified, like, texture pack or anything. Like, are people just, like, making textures?
I will
but
say
do you
this.
see what
like-
I'm saying? It's because
like-
Media Molecule has not put out, like this is the baseline. Go from here. That's why it feels confusing. Because these are people that have been playing a private closed beta that have been making this stuff for months, and now it's in early access. Anybody can go buy it for $30. It's on the PlayStation Store, and all the stuff is already made. I think you spend 3 hours with the tutorials, you might understand a lot more. But I'm telling you, Media Molecule has put out a lot of like, hey, look, we're going to create a level. It's super easy to do. We're like, check this out, check this out, check this out. And all of a sudden, they've made something. Like, that stuff is out there. You can see how that works. Yeah.
I
You
mean,
can see how that works. Like, look at this environment.
I know, and
there's
I
various
think
views. There's
that is the confusing thread that I agree with Crispy, because I don't have any frame of reference either. It's that from the toilet simulator that you just played to the Starry Night scene that you just showed us to this pool table that you're showing us, there is no consistent use of texture or
They look
because you
completely different.
Because that's the point of this game is you can literally
No,
do.
I
You're seeing the
know.
hook.
It's just like what I'm saying is I'm seeing so much variety that like I wonder if this is even like a thing that I could ever even play.
You
Wait,
can
what do you
definitely
mean
play it.
I mean, like
or create.
yeah.
Like that's what I was saying.
Go in the
Like
tutorial.
like the amount. I don't think this game took 10 minutes to create. This is these games take hours and hours and hours to actually build the
just
little
seems like-
the world you're trying to create, the level.
I don't.
but the
I'm
ones
not,
that are-
like, I'm sorry. I know my voice sounds like I'm really negative about this, and that's not the case. I'm just like really fucking confused.
You just
as to
have
what
no
this thing
place
even
to
is.
start. You have no baseline, and I think that's like frustrating you.
I mean,
I'm
also
not frustrated. I just like, yeah, like I don't really.
But
Like you guys just keep saying like, oh, you can play a shooter. I played PT in it. I did this and that. And it's like I can't even wrap my head around like.
But okay, a couple things. One,
how?
what your position
Yeah.
is. What I'm trying to say is that might be a legitimate issue that this game is going to have, especially with it launching in early access without that media molecule campaign. Secondly, is like, you know, this shit's like legitimately impressive, but like maybe watching a YouTube video of some like the crazier stuff is enough. I don't know. You know, like Little Big Planet success, I think had a lot to do with how viral stuff went.
Yeah.
But like, if we're at a point where stuff is not going to go viral or can't go viral, you know what people are talking way more about? Fucking Smash Brothers created stages. Because that's there's a baseline there. You know, you understand what Smash Brothers is.
Like when you look at those custom stages, it looks like someone took like a block set and just like made it.
That stuff is going
like, made a
viral.
stage.
Yeah, look at this shit, right?
Like
people
this
are making
doesn't
games.
look like it doesn't look like we've been looking at the same game this whole time. This looks like you've been showing us a collection of like mini games you got off of Steam or something, and it's like I just like
Is that
don't
a
even.
problem?
No, that's not a problem. But it's like you get what I'm saying. Like Dreams isn't a game. This is just like all these
it's
little
every
games
game.
you've been
It is a
playing.
game,
I know.
It's not out
I know.
yet.
We're losing the thread here, and people are definitely going to misconstrue what I'm saying about this because I'm not even entirely sure what I'm saying.
But your
Like
position is like one of the flaws of what this project is right now. You're fucking right. And I think it's going to actually hurt the success of this game. By the way, this level I play here, I think this is the last thing on here, is like legitimately cool. It's like a relatively simple like kind of platformer, right? But you get this
it doesn't. Yeah.
Little Big Planet 3D.
But like Little Big Planet, like
3D levels.
You can make a whole bunch of different things in Little Big Planet, but like I would still be like, oh look, that's the cloud texture, and like that's the dirt texture that I
Sure,
remember.
there was
like,
a cohesive
it all
art style.
looked
Sure.
the same, just like rearranged in different forms.
Sure.
This is like
all over the board.
This isn't a game. This is an operating system.
You're
This is
right.
like-
This is an engine, and Media Molecule has not put out the game part of
it's
it
a
yet.
dev kit. You're looking at a dev kit.
Like,
But
like even if you
this
just
isn't-
even if you just got like Unity or something and just used like the assets that came with Unity, like it would still all, like, oh, that looks like a game that was made in Unity or something, you know? Like, this is fucking weird.
I think it's way less confusing once you understand that this is a spiritual extension of what Little Big Planet was. And if you're a person who played a lot of Little Big Planet 1, a lot of Little Big Planet 2, and maybe even 3, and you got to here, you go like, oh yeah, of course that's what this is.
Wait, are
And
you
would even
controlling time right now?
Yeah, you control time by holding down the triggers, and the pieces of the stage are tied to that time manipulation, and it gets like crazy cool
That's
here
cool.
too. And like the possibilities, and this game's not even out yet. That's what I'm saying. Like I played a lot of Little Big Planet 1, and I played a lot of 2, and I played a lot of those games at during various time periods post-release. And me knowing where Little Big Planet went with a much more simpler like baseline tool set has me so excited.
Okay.
We're going to see so much crazy shit.
Okay.
At least the people who care to see it.
I think I figured out the question that I've been trying to ask. How much Photoshop do I need to know to make stuff in this game?
I don't think you need to know it.
Guys,
so like,
guys.
are you concerned about it as a creator? I mean, are you? Is your interest in this game as a creator?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so
I mean,
there-
like this,
I understand.
like it seems cool. Like,
so I mean,
but, like-
as a creator, you got to put in the work, and at the very start, go watch some fucking videos, Crispy.
so I should start learning Photoshop.
No,
No, go watch some videos of people creating.
here's the disconnect, guys. And this is last time.
After Effects or
The
You're
disconnect,
being lazy. That's why you're not going to be a creator. Watch
I
some
just-
videos.
Brad.
I was hoping to hear some about that.
Well, I didn't create.
Okay, the disconnect here really is that Crispy just doesn't have a visual aid for like what it's like to actually
I
move
know.
around.
I don't want to talk about this anymore
because
because it sounds like I'm being a fucking asshole.
We need to
about
move on.
this. Like, and I'm really
I knew this
try-
game
I'm
was
really
gonna be
not
hard
trying
to
to.
talk.
I just thought that like I was kind of excited to hear about this game because I thought it would answer some questions, and now I have like 1,000 more. Like,
I'm sorry that you were
There's actually
relying.
over 1,000 art assets.
I'm sorry that you are relying on me to deliver all the
That's
info about
not-
dreams.
don't.
Brad,
do
you should
that.
make
That's
a
not
level
what-
in Dreams explaining how Dreams works.
Going to fucking for next week. I'm gonna spend hours in the creator. Oh, it's only $30. Just fucking pick it up.
I'll
and
never
figure it out.
listen to anything you
Hey,
have to say
no,
about a game again.
listen to
I'll
me,
just
listen to me.
read stuff.
Listen to me. It's $30. Go get it.
On what?
Oh my god. On PlayStation
I really don't know.
4.
I thought this was like an Xbox exclusive or
Oh
something.
my god.
No, it's
Okay.
coming out to a good console.
It's by
Okay,
Media Molecule. They're the lovely British company that made Little Big Planet and Tearaway.
I'm aware, but wasn't this an Xbox thing?
No, this is a PS4.
No, you're thinking of Project Spark,
Oh, yes, I am.
the ghetto version of.
Yes, I am.
I feel like Crispy just had this realization, like, oh, I was thinking of Project Spark.
No,
this whole
I mean
time.
that didn't clear
How
up
much
a
do you
lot,
know
but
about
it did
Project
help.
Spark? It's probably kind of like that.
I
Actually.
really don't. Like I.
Okay.
I like. Okay, that helped a little bit. Not a lot.
That's funny.
I don't know. I don't like it. I
think
don't like.
they
I
have
don't like the way
Conquer
this
DLC.
conversation went. Let's move on.
Let's take a quick break, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch a video during the break. When we come back, I have one more game I want to talk about. I want to talk about Katana Zero because I played that.
You finished it, didn't you?
I did. It's not a very long game. I finished it on my vacation. So we'll talk about Katana Zero, and then we have a shit ton of news to talk about. So if you're watching us live, go get a snack, and then come back. And we'll be back, and we'll talk about more video game stuff. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got more video game stuff to talk about. Before we get too far, I do want to pimp something that I completely forgot to do at the top of the show. I wanted to mention the Revival Club because we're still playing Devil May Cry 3. I have not had a chance to play it this past week because I've been out of town, but I know a bunch of people are currently playing it and are talking about it in our Discord. And if you're a supporter on Patreon or Twitch, you can vote for the next episode of the Revival Club. And you know what's winning right now? We have 30 games that were put up for consideration. You know what the top? Yeah, there's 30 games, and we had people pick their top 3, and we're seeing which ones come out on top, so we can get the final 4.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That seems
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is winning by a large margin right now. Huh?
What's second place?
Dark Cloud 2, I want to say. Actually, no, sorry, that's third place. Do you know what is second place?
No, I just asked you.
Genuinely surprised by this.
What's that?
Vanquish.
Why are you surprised?
I don't know. I just did like it's like because it's Dark Cloud 2 is a runner-up, right? And everyone loves Dark Cloud 2. Everyone.
The reason Vampire is doing well is because
the sequel.
The sequel's coming out.
It's fucking relevant, which is honestly how we should make these polls. But I mean that they're naturally kind of doing that for themselves. The idea is not necessarily to always choose the relevant thing. It sometimes will, sometimes may not, but. Vampire the Masquerade is winning by a pretty large margin right now. We're going to narrow it down to 4, and then we're going to vote again. Suikoden 2, because it was a runner-up from the last poll, is going to automatically be entered. So there'll be 4 games you can vote on. I'm going to run that poll to the end of April. So if you are a supporter on Patreon or Twitch and you want to partake in the Revival Club, you can actually jump into the nominations channel, and I posted the link to the poll if you want to vote for your top 3 games there. And like I said, I'll be doing that to the end of April, and then we'll do the final poll. What is this, Brad? You know the what the fuck gif where the guy's doing this?
Yes.
What the fuck? I'm just saying that to someone in chat. Never mind.
Gotcha. So one more video game I want to talk about before we jump into the news. We haven't had a chance yet to talk about Katana Zero.
I
did.
A little bit of that.
I did play that. I actually finished it. I took it with me on my trip. Played it on the Switch.
Pretty short.
I think it took me about 5 hours, roughly, maybe less. Maybe a little bit less. What is the thing on the Switch where it can tell you how many hours you've played a game, but it doesn't tell you until you've done...
That's like the parental section or whatever.
Well, you go to your profile and it tells you.
Yeah, on your profile it'll show you. It'll say like around this many hours.
And it's like it's played over this many hours.
Yeah, and it's a 5-hour mark where it does
So you have to be over 5 hours before it tells you that, right?
Correct.
I have not. It does not yet tell me how many hours I've played Katana Zero. So less than 5 hours is how long it took me to finish
It's also that
Katana Zero.
That's pretty unreliable.
Oh yeah, it's horribly unreliable. You could have played like 12 hours.
Apparently, I played like 300 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
It blows my
which I have not played 300 hours.
Why is that like a thing that's hard for them to accomplish? I don't know. But anyways, Katana Zero is a cool little indie game that came out last week. It shares a lot of DNA, I think, with I think the most common comparison you're going to see it come up is Hotline Miami.
Both in gameplay and narrative.
Both in gameplay and narrative. A little bit different than Hotline Miami because Hotline Miami is top down. This is a side scroller. And unless I'm misremembering, Hotline Miami doesn't have the rewind feature, right?
Is there a rewind feature in this game?
Like restart.
So the thing with
you eventually get ones?
No, it's not even an ability. Like when you die, it resets the level. Like you're playing.
But that's just an effect, right? Of loading a checkpoint.
It's like Trials. You know when you go through a level, you fuck up in Trials, and then it just like instantly starts you back at the beginning.
Yeah,
it's like that, but instead of just loading you back at the beginning, it does like a and it takes you right back to the beginning, and then you do the whole thing. But it's instantaneous. So you play as this samurai dude in this like cyberpunk future area, and it's first of all, I didn't think this game was going to get quite as crazy or weird with its narrative as it does.
I'm fucking glad it did because honestly, after playing a handful of levels, the gameplay isn't really like doing it that much for me.
Because the gameplay is what brought me to this, for sure.
Well, it's what got me interested from like watching trailers, but I find it, I don't know, maybe just a little too simple. Like I really like how Hotline Miami plays and kind of the flow of that, but here it just seems a little more
I will say
bullish.
this. I will say, it's very appealing at the beginning, right? Where like you're moving through these levels really fast, you're like using your katana to like slice dudes up and like ricochet bullets back and stuff. But once you've done that a few levels, it's kind of like you start to feel like, okay, this is maybe kind of like a one-trick pony kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's still very satisfying, like that never changes, but like they don't really mix up the gameplay a ton, mechanically
that's
speaking.
My concern, I guess. Although it's funny you're showing a level that is.
But I picked this level because I think it's the most It's one of the most interesting early levels. Like first I was going to record something from a later level, and then I realized this is actually kind of spoilery because this game actually gets kind of crazy narratively speaking towards the end.
Yeah, I love the dialogue system.
The dialogue system is really cool. Like as people are talking to you, like if you it'll give you like a red option early on where you can like interrupt them and just like, fuck you, I want this, right?
Oh,
or
yeah,
just give me my medicine.
Or just give me my medicine.
When you're talking to your shrink.
When you're talking to the therapist or whatever.
Yeah. But it's more than just the therapist. It happens all over the place. Like when you're talking to like enemies. There's even a dude, like you'll see when I get to the end of this level, I'm about to assassinate this guy, and like you can talk to him, and like the therapist guy who gives you your missions. He tells you.
Is this the level where you're like climbing the building? That's the guy at the edge of the roof.
No,
whatever,
that's a different level.
Okay,
this is the end of the nightclub, and I don't think this was in the demo we played.
Yeah, I didn't play that.
But when you get to this dude, like the one instruction that they gave you when you go in this assassination mission is don't talk to the guy, just kill him. So when you get to him, he like obviously he like cowers in the corner. He's like, oh god, don't kill me. So you can the immediate option is to just like in red it appears like you can just cut off his dialogue and just fucking kill him.
What does that change?
But when I first played it, when I beat it, I talked to him and it changes. Like when you start going back to the therapist, he starts like getting more and more agitated with you because you're ignoring his orders, and you start to find out.
That's very like kind of Hotline Miami. You know, what's crazy is that I guess that level that Nolan was talking about at the end of that. So at the start of that level, you could like talk
Brandon,
to the.
You played this or?
Yeah, I'm playing it right now. So like right now, no, you could talk to like the receptionist or whatever, and she kind of keeps going on and on and on, and you can sort of have a conversation with her.
You can tell her you're a cosplayer.
Was really fucking annoying, right? You could say like, "Please let me just fucking go." But I kept talking to her, and at the end of that mission, there was like a guard there saying, "Hey, stop!" But then like she vouched for me because I had that conversation. Like, what happens if you don't?
So I can tell you about that. So at PAX last year, last year, when we were at PAX, I was waiting in line to play this. There was one guy playing it, so I stood behind him and I was kind of watching him, and I watched him have that conversation with that receptionist. Yeah. And so when it got to my turn with it, I was like, "Dude, I've already seen all this," and so I kind of like skipped it all. And I was like, whatever, let me go. And then when I got down there, she's like, "That's that guy. He was an asshole. Kill him." And that guard starts shooting at you.
You have to.
You have to kill the guard and try and escape and stuff. So it's one of those things where, since I was an asshole to her, she didn't vouch for me.
But here's the thing: you could also fuck it up if she vouches for you.
Oh, really?
Because I did this the first time. Because you have a couple options when you talk to her, and because you're obviously dressed like a ninja.
Yeah.
Right?
So she's like, Comic-Con or something like that.
Yeah. So you can tell her one of the options to tell her you're a cosplayer, and then she continues to talk to you because she's like, "Oh, I love anime. Like, what anime are you from?" And you have to pick like one of these animes that you're doing or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, I've never heard of that one." And then at the very end, when she vouches for you, she says something about like, "What was that? Yeah, you're a cosplayer. What was that anime you're in?" And it gives you the options again.
And you have to pick the right one.
And you have to pick the right one. If you answer it wrong, she's like, "That's not what you said before. This is weird." And then the cop's like, "Get down on the ground." And then you're like, "Oh shit!" Like it's
like Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, a little bit. But if
you never learn Hank's son's name, you're fucked.
I was just kind of surprised by like that the kind of narrative stuff is the stuff that I'm finding maybe that's going to kind of keep me playing because
it's interesting.
The gameplay I just feel like it's just a little too simple.
Yeah, it is. It definitely feels simple. Not to mention these levels are super fast. Like once you start to get really good at it, and like it is cool.
But I'm already getting frustrated, kind of like redoing.
Yeah.
Rooms,
I mean, Brad,
the thing is, you have to get good.
The thing, I never really got frustrated. Like there was one level I probably did it like 30 times in a row, but like because it's like Trials, because it like rewinds like super quick. Like I never really got frustrated. I was just like I gotta fucking get better at this. I gotta time my shit better, and like grabbing like knives off the ground and throwing them.
How often do
and
you use the slow mo?
I keep forgetting it exists.
You already beat the game.
Well, I know. I beat the game. I mean,
so like you beat the game and you're still not using it?
Right. I was recording this and I forgot. In a minute, you'll see that I start to use it suddenly.
What does that message say when you die and it rewinds? It's like that won't work.
Oh yeah. So all of these.
Is this all like him planning this out in his head or something?
It's like
no. There's there's a narrative thing.
Yeah. Don't talk.
I don't want to spoil. But like it's kind of like the levels are actually kind of like you watching all of these like security cam footage of you doing this stuff. So it's like when you fuck something up, it's kind of like, oh, that's not how it happened, and then it rewinds it. So when you get it says, oh, yep, that should work. It's kind of weird. And also when you move on to another room, it does this thing where it like shows you how you did everything without any of like the slowdown or anything,
right?
Which is kind of cool. Except
I always skip it.
It seems pointless. Like I don't know what the point.
It's like they're trying to go for a Super Meat Boy thing, but without all of your runs, just with the one run.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but I literally just did this.
Yeah. So like
it's
I mean, is it just trying to cap off that narrative device you're talking about?
if that's what they were going
'Cause
for, I
that
think it kind of
looks like
fails. I'm not sure
Security camera.
I'm not sure how successful that ultimately ends up being, but like, I don't know.
it's got a lot of style. This game looks really cool, and the narrative stuff's kind of interesting.
And I like the music a lot.
I mean, I'm not far, but it's kind of like The Professional a little bit. It reminds me of that.
Yeah, because there's this little girl that you're like, that lives in your apartment building that you're kind of.
Oh yeah, your neighbor or whatever.
Yeah. And you have some weird choices that you can make with her as far as like how you treat her and stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, like you can be kind of like off-putting. You're, just kind of like I don't like kids, or you can be like really like fatherly to her or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. And the game certainly goes places. And towards the end, it starts to do some really interesting like things that are kind of off, like that are kind of different than what you're seeing here, which is kind of what the bulk of the game is. But yeah, I mean, it's a quick game. Like I said, it didn't. I don't even think it took me 5 hours. So
I feel like Hotline Miami, but
the thing I've actually never finished Hotline Miami.
really,
So I feel like maybe this kind of made me want to go back and play that, but. I don't know.
You finished the game, and I feel like
pretty
I
cool.
need to tell you how to play.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well,
Nick,
no,
use your slow mo.
I'm recording this footage like a week after I finished it, so I'm just kind of like, I just forgot it existed. In a minute, you'll see I start to use it more because I'm like, oh right, I forgot. This would probably make this a lot easier. But I got to the point where I was doing it pretty well even without it. So it's cool. It's a cool little game. It has a lot of has a lot of personality to it. The slow-mo is cool because when you're actually like ricocheting bullets, like trying to like time your bullets and stuff is really fun. Until they pull out a shotgun, and then it's like, you can reflect one bullet, but it's gonna still hit you. But yeah, that's called Katana Zero.
Is it worth it?
I mean, it's $15. So yeah,
I think you'd like it.
$15.
I think it's 15. I want to say it's 15. Yeah, I mean,
and I kind of brought that up the other day on the show that I'm loving this kind of like rush of indie games that are like kind of not, I want to say cheap, but I mean like sub $30 or whatever.
Did you get SteamWorld Quest?
Not yet.
It's out today.
I know. Dude, there's so many fucking games.
So many
there's
That new Steam run?
yes,
It's
yes.
out.
Ugh. Dude, there's so many fun games I want to play. That I just this rush of cheaper, like I don't need to pay $60 for like a 20, 30, 40 hour experience when I can pay $15 for like a 10-hour experience. That's just this really nice. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's succinct and it's fucking like, oh, I'm loving this. This is like the fucking bread and butter of what I like.
And the other game I was playing on my vacation that I played more than Katana Zero and more than Zelda was Final Fantasy IX on my Switch. Really enjoying that.
Cool.
I'll just kind of
You're
leave
gonna
it at
buy those $90 figurines?
Oh,
No, that stuff's high quality.
It is high quality.
It looks high quality.
Kind of an aside real quick. I meant to tweet this yesterday that 11-Bit Studios put out like a little infographic yesterday.
For Frostpunk?
Frostpunk's been out for a year now.
Yeah.
And then so they had a bunch of stuff of like, oh, this many people have played the game. Out of 193 countries in the world that Steam is in, 191 countries have bought Frostpunk. Nice. Only 2 countries in the world that Steam is in have not bought Frostpunk.
Which countries were those?
I don't know.
Damn you.
I can't remember what it was. Oh, dude, it was some fucking island in kind of like Bermuda, like south of us area, that 3 people bought the game, but 1 person refunded it. But yeah, and just like talking about, most people choose these choices and stuff like that. And it was a cool little infographic, and it was kind of just spur as a reminder. Frostpunk's coming to PS4 and Xbox One this summer.
That's pretty
so
exciting.
for everyone who hasn't had a chance to play it, like literally almost everyone will now be able to. So fucking do it. But yeah,
awesome.
I need to find that infographic and I'll tweet it out.
Do it. We will retweet it from the 4Player account if you do that. So I think that's it for impressions this week. Like I said, we had a lot of games to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump into news. And we had a lot of news topics as well because we didn't have a chance to talk about last week's news either. So I'm just
Let's rush through it and not have a meaningful discussion about any of it.
I forgot.
Shut up, Crispy.
So that is one game. Quick impressions.
I
I
wanted to
did
hear
start
that.
playing Slay the Spire.
Oh, God damn you, Brett.
I was
Yeah,
watching
I know.
George play today.
Yeah,
on
that
the
game's pretty fun.
It's one of those things where it's a lot of fun. It's a situation. It's a card game. you get these cards, you go in the combats and stuff like that, and you'll get these like what are the relics, and you're like, oh, and I'll do this, and maybe I'll kind of build my deck towards this direction, and then you get fucked, and you just can't, like, your cards don't work out, or then you get like a curse that fucks you, or you go into combat where you get a bunch of wounds, and it's like, and so
you gotta build around that, man.
Yeah,
the thing is, the best advice I ever heard about this game is don't try to make like an archetype deck of like, oh, I want to make a Shiv deck, or I want to make a strength deck or whatever. And instead, look at what's ahead of you, look at the path you're going to take, and try to fill the gaps with what you're like, oh, I'm not getting enough block cards, I'm going to focus on trying to get a little bit of block. And just sort of approaching it more like organically, and just completing the challenges ahead of you, looking at the boss, and you're like, okay, I know what this boss does. He throws a lot of status cards, so maybe I'll pick up a True Grit or something, because that can exhaust a card in my hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you start playing it that way, not only do you start to kind of feel how all the different like cards work together, but like
I think it's a situation of trial and error and just learning how the game works. Because early on, when you start playing, you're like, oh, this card's great, but it makes me exhaust a card, and that sucks. But then you realize later on that it's like, oh, I can use that to get rid of something that's hurting me.
Yes. Yep. Or even like simple strikes that you don't even really need to play.
Yeah, like, oh, I know I'm not going to need this because so it's one of those things where, don't get me wrong, I've only done maybe 5 or 6 runs.
Okay.
So I haven't done too many. I've gotten upwards of like the 3rd boss, I guess, if that's how that works.
Yeah.
I don't really know how many there are or anything like that.
Well, I mean, where you are, there's only 3 acts. So if you got to the 3rd boss,
I lost to him. So
I mean, it's hard.
But yeah, so it's one of those things where the game is definitely super addictive. The first night I played it, I was like, oh, this game seems... It was right after I beat Sekiro. And so I was like, the game seems pretty cool. I'll maybe play like an hour or two. And like 3.5 hours went by. And it was like almost like 1 a.m.
You tried the defect, the robot?
I don't have that robot. I only have 2 characters.
Yeah. Once you complete a run with the 2nd character, I think you get the robot.
So you just have to die, I think.
I've definitely died with the 2nd
Or you should have to complete like an act or some shit.
Maybe I didn't do that. I don't know. I've only played the 2nd character a
little
bit.
The robot's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I do plan on playing a little bit more of that, but like I said, there's just fucking games.
I really like the 2nd character the best, though. The roguey one.
Yeah.
The rogue one's so much fun.
Okay, anyway, back to the news.
News!
Yes.
Chris Davis, hit us with the news. We're going to have a meaningful conversation about this, Crispy. I don't care what you say.
How meaningful?
I don't know. Let's see what the first news topic is.
What
Any
is it?
second now. Sony has revealed the first PlayStation 5 details.
Yep.
Seems powerful.
It seems very powerful.
Specs and features. So I have kind of them pulled up here, and this is, starting to get into...
Give us the TLDR.
It's going to have an AMD chip that has a
Okay.
CPU based on the 3rd generation Ryzen.
Okay.
Isn't it a solid-state drive?
That's okay. So let's jump to that.
drive,
That's
yes.
the exciting
By
part.
default.
Yeah.
Not just a solid state drive.
Did you see what they said about
but-
Spider-Man?
Exactly.
Yes.
Not just a solid state drive, but it seems like it's
Well, the more powerful CPU is also, in addition to the solid state drive, is increasing load times. And I think they were saying...
But it seems to be like a
You mean
priority
improving
for
load
them.
times?
Sorry, improving load times. Yeah, but it was like saying, like, in Spider-Man 4, a normal level that loaded in, 40 seconds or something?
Yeah.
Loaded in, 0.8 seconds or
Yeah.
some shit. It was, a ridiculous fast load time.
So it's nice to see that not only is there a solid state drive in there, but it's not like a useless solid state.
Right.
Kind of like if you threw a solid state into your current PS4, you wouldn't see a huge difference.
Well,
but the fact that it's a focus.
Hold on. So don't get me wrong, because I have a 2 terabyte hard drive, and I've been debating on if I want to upgrade it. So I've been doing a lot of research into the effects on solid state, and it does increase. It would go from maybe 40 seconds to 25 or 30.
Yeah.
So it does help, but it's not to the extent that we're talking about
Yeah.
with the PS5, in addition to its more powerful CPU and solid state, that it dramatically increases
It's cool,
load
man.
time.
I mean,
It's like we're playing
I mean, I feel
Super
like
Nintendo games.
I feel
again.
like the next jump from PS4 to PS5, there will be obviously a graphical jump, but maybe not to the point of going from PS3 to PS4. But the focus is going to start to be on improving things like load times, and I think that's going to be.
But I mean, ultimately, I think that's going to end up being up to the developer.
Yeah,
but at least I
absolutely.
think with first party stuff, they'll really kind of push.
And I know you have your listening, but what got brought up in chat is the big one for me is the fact that it's backwards compatible.
Yes, that was the next item.
And that is so, especially people who have a PS4, all of a sudden they're going to have a PS Pro Plus. They're going to have the ability to pay their PS4 games on an even more powerful console than the PS Pro.
It'll be kind of it's good for people who skipped to the sub generation, right?
Well, yeah.
So you're not just being screwed.
Or is this just another sub?
No,
Like
it depends on
is this like the next cell phone?
I think the way you just kind of need to look at it is that the generations have now gone from 4 years to 2 years, basically. So it is kind of like another sub jump, but it's going to be new hard. Like I don't think the PS5 is going to look like a PS4.
That makes me happy because I didn't want to look back at my PS4 like it was. If I could play all my PS4 games.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're saying.
That feels good, but I'm wondering if it's gonna be how, like when you first bought a PS3 and it had just like PS2 hardware in it.
Oh yeah.
I
don't think that'll be the case. I think one of the reasons that is they were just completely different architectures. And I think now the way that game development and hardware is gone, it's not so much that it's an architectural change; it's just a more powerful system that can do better things.
It's like a new PC.
Exactly, it's just an upgrade to components.
A big deal for me is that because it's backwards compatible, it's also implying that it will still have a disk drive. It's not jumping straight to an all digital
I'm sure
thing,
they will.
which is great.
But
there
still could be some awkward issues, like if you try to play an old PC game on a modern rig, shit might like run too fast or something. I wonder if we might run into those kinds of issues.
I think maybe if we're on the PS8, that might be an issue, but I don't think this single
one generation
jump,
leap.
I don't think
that.
you're going to have an issue where you're trying to play like Assassin's Creed Odyssey or something, and it's all of a sudden fucking up.
Yeah,
I think it's just gonna. I don't know how much better it will look. I do know that in a lot of cases. We've seen games that can play in 1080p, or you can do like the 4K, but it doesn't run as well. Yeah. I think you're going to be able to play those games in 4K at like maybe 60 frames a second. I think you will have that ability to play them at the higher frame rate and the higher resolution.
I'd like to be able to get rid of my PS4 completely.
Yeah. Here's the last kind of.
I don't have a PS1.
The last big thing about this, which makes me very happy, is that the PSVR is going to be supported on PS5.
Oh, definitely.
The current headset. So like we might see an improved headset, but the current headsets that are out there will also be compatible along with the Move controllers for the PS5.
Really smart.
It sounds like all the way around like backwards compatibility between peripherals and software is a big deal.
Did you see the stuff that was less confirmed about potentially like GTA 6 being a timed exclusive on the PS5?
I did not see
for fall of 2020. That was some kind of like leaked, rumored information that was out there from some. Vice City? I don't know about that.
Being Vice City, huh?
Yeah, but maybe I don't know.
See San Andreas again. By the way,
I don't want to see any. I want to see new places.
In a coma.
Huh?
John Singleton's in a coma.
Really?
Yeah, from his stroke. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Creator of Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. As of today.
Yeah. But yeah, so I remember reading an article about that kind of being some leaked information from some inside sources. So I mean,
could be. You never know.
I don't foresee it being out of the question that fall of 2020 is the release date of this.
I mean,
which obviously
right.
means I'm going to be double dipping on The Last of Us 2 when they re-release it on the PS5.
And the last bit of news regarding the PS5 is that, because obviously release date and price are the next big questions that we all have before we actually see the hardware. And while they haven't confirmed the price, Sony has said, quote unquote, that the price will be appealing to gamers.
So the cost of like
whatever
a banana?
The fuck that means.
Like the bunch of a banana.
Chris Davis is so hardcore saying that he thinks it's going to be $599.
I think it's going to be $500.
I think it's going to be at most $499.
PS4 was $400. PS5's $500.
Do you know how I know this, Chris Davis? Because $599 is not appealing, while $499 might be appealing.
What if they have
on the hardware.
like $300 and $500?
Maybe
that would be.
What if they do multiple SKUs from the get-go?
I could see him doing it.
I hope
could
not.
be.
I could see Xbox doing that for sure.
You know what would be appealing?
Isn't there rumors that they might?
Free.
I don't think they'd go for that, Nolan. I'm sorry, but
we gotta get that socialism going.
All right, next news topic. Hit us with that next news topic. It is okay. This is the one you asked about earlier, Brad.
Oh, yeah,
Persona 5: The Royal
Mm-hmm.
has been announced, launching in 2020 in the West, and Persona 5 Scramble, which everybody thought was the Switch port,
is not.
It is not a
port.
Switch port.
Nope.
It is a what is that? What kind of game is that?
It's a Muso game.
Oh my
Dynasty
God.
Warriors.
Yep.
Fucking
Blech.
not interested. But
Oh man, people are pissed because everyone just assumed that it was going to be
of course.
the port.
Yeah. Why would they not make a wise decision? Why would they do that?
Well, first of all, why is Royal even a thing if it's not a port, right? I mean, like, the big thing about Golden was that they did all this stuff, and then it came to a new system, right? A portable system. That was cool, right?
Yeah.
But Persona already came out on the PS4, and this new Royal is not even doing like a lot of people were hoping the female main character, like what Persona 3 Portable did back in the day.
It's the same. Is it still playing as Joker?
Yeah.
But they're adding.
There's a new character, but it's a.
They're adding a new character in a new semester,
member.
right?
Something
like a new semester or something. I don't know.
New semester.
It's weird. It's definitely not what people were expecting or hoping for. So who the hell knows? But
Golden never came to PS3, did it?
No,
it was just Vita.
I believe it was just Vita.
What? Okay, so like I think Atlas
because I played it on my PlayStation TV. Yeah,
I think Atlas is like kind of making bad decisions here, and I think they've been making them for a very long time, because you go all the way back to Persona 3 and there's no definitive version of the game. There's Persona 3, there's Persona 3 Fest, which adds a bunch of stuff, and then there's the portable version, which adds the female main character and all this new dialogue surrounding that, but doesn't have the Fest content.
Correct.
So it's like there's no definitive version. Like they never ported the portable version.
Nope.
Like, and then you have Persona 4 and then they did the golden version, which everybody loves.
Yep.
It just came to Vita.
Yep.
Why did that not end up back on the PS3? That's insane. That's like they're throwing money away.
Oh, no,
Persona blew up.
They would have sold a lot more copies if they put Golden on the PS3.
If Atlas is really stupid enough,
or even released it as like digital download on the PS3 or something like that. Yeah,
anything would be nice.
Yeah,
and I think because of those bad decisions, Atlas might actually be stupid enough not to put Persona 5 on the Switch, which we know can run it because there was a PS3 version of Persona 5, right?
Yes.
That's a real thing. So, like, what are they thinking?
What if Persona 4 Golden comes to the Switch?
Yeah, this is weird.
It is weird.
I mean, that's another real fucking good idea, right? You know, look at like Square Enix can put out like Final Fantasies from the 90s, charge $21, and Nick's like, I'm fucking there, you know, which is fine. A lot of people are Nick.
I feel attacked.
A good point. A good point is Dragon Quest 11's on the Switch.
And you know what? I was fucking there.
Their Switch is powerful enough to play Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah, if it's of course it's more powerful. Yeah, of course.
There's no. I mean, in all honesty, the most difficult thing probably is just ensuring that the software runs on the hardware. I mean, that's probably the reason. It probably takes time, and who knows? Maybe they lost the gold disc. Of the game.
You're right. You're right, and it makes sense that it would eventually come over. But then I think about Persona 4 and how that was the breakout game for them. That would have made them so much money on PS3 and Xbox or anything. It just stayed on the Vita of all things.
Who knows?
Weird.
Next
Maybe
news
they had
topic.
a deal that it was a Vita exclusive. Maybe they were just trying to push the Vita, so they were like, everyone's gonna love this, so they'll have to get a Vita.
It's possible.
All right. Respawn finally unveiled Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
We haven't
Star
talked about that.
I know we haven't talked.
Did they reveal it? Yeah. Did they? Can I rant?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're opening up they've opened up pre-orders for a game. You could buy an expensive lightsaber version of this game. And they haven't actually said what the fucking game is.
Well, they've said what it is. They haven't shown
No, they
it.
haven't.
They said what it is. They didn't
This
show
could be an
what it is.
RTS.
Single player.
They've said it's a third-person action game akin to The Force
action
Unleashed.
game.
Yeah.
There are
Akin
some
to the Force
assumptions being made.
Unleashed.
Why would they make assumptions based on what that said that are anything
Because I
but
watched that
that?
hour fucking panel.
Oh, I didn't even do that.
Yeah.
Way to go, Brad.
And they might have said the akin to Force Unleashed like fucking later, but they didn't say it during that panel.
Sure. I will give you that.
And there was a lot of confusion on what the fuck it was. They showed a story trailer. They were vaguely hinting at kind of maybe what this game is, but like they are taking pre-orders
thoughtful
for
combat.
a game. They haven't showed a second of it, and they haven't gone into full detail of what it even is.
They're saving that for E3. I'm sure
What is
we'll
kind of maybe like Force Unleashed? Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is so in line with the way they announced the title of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Super awkward. What are you doing?
Bradley, it has deep, thoughtful combat.
Exactly. Shit like that is bullshit. Those are the details they gave out. Deep, thoughtful combat.
Hey, man, did you see that James Bond 25 reveal?
Does that mean Dark
I didn't
Souls?
see that.
Does it mean fucking
I
Dark
heard about
Souls?
it.
That's how you say Dark Souls without saying Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Okay, so like,
No.
if that's what that means, that's exciting. But the problem is we don't fucking know.
No, the reason I brought up the James Bond 25 reveal event this morning, I made a point to watch
What
that.
the fuck
Very
is
excited.
that? Like of the new movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. They said they're doing a James Bond 25 reveal
Wait,
event.
is Daniel
right?
Craig still James Bond?
Yes.
We're talking about Star Wars!
I'm sorry. No, I'm trying to make a connection here. It's the same kind of thing. they talked about doing a James Bond 25 reveal event. They announced the cast, which is mostly returning cast,
Which is weird.
and filming locations.
Yeah,
That was it.
No, what's his face?
I said
Freddie
I said
Mercury is going to be in this.
Mostly returning.
What? Oh,
Remy Malek is playing the villain, which is great. I'm very glad they confirmed that. I'm just saying, it was kind of like, why did I stay and watch this event when you didn't even give us a title or a teaser trailer?
I thought they were going to announce the
I was like,
title.
at the very least, they'll show us a title.
But that's kind of the same jerk around we got with Jedi Fallen Order. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that is in fact what it's called. What's the name?
You know what else is kind of fucked up about this is like the story setup. At least what little they've told us, which who knows, maybe the story will go somewhere. But the setup they've given us is the setup for a character that already fucking exists. Is like in that exact time frame doing
Which character are you referring to?
Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character from Star Wars Rebels.
I'm watching. I started watching Rebels.
Jarrus, or I think what Kanan Jarrus is that his name?
I've watched the first
this
episode.
new character that they made up, his story is the exact same. It's like some dude who was a Padawan during Order 66, and who's like been on the run and is like kind of just figuring out how to be a Jedi on his own, or like didn't want to be a Jedi, is like evading the Empire. He's like taking jobs as a blue collar worker across the Outer Rim or whatever. And then there's fucking Inquisitors, which is another Star Wars Rebels thing.
Which is also the villain
Or the villains of this game.
In this game.
Yeah, except it's a new Inquisitor. It's the second sister, not the seventh sister or whatever, the one from fucking...
Wait, what happened to the first sister?
I think she died or something.
Clearly,
I don't know. There's
clearly
a bunch of them.
the big reveal from this event was supposed to be...
They all look the same. They're all the same.
Was supposed to be the story unveiling and the actor that they have
it's late.
playing.
The Jedi exist. They got jobs on the Outer Rim.
They all got outsourced.
This game is coming out this year?
Yes, November 15th.
Let me ask you this: Why did they not even show a second of gameplay?
Because
Much
they're
less
saving.
go into details.
Because they're saving it for E3, Brad. I will almost be willing to bet money we will see this on the stage at Xbox.
Yeah, this specific...
And it'll be playable in the show.
Yeah,
Are you going to need a mouse for this?
No,
RTS?
there's support for the controller that has the mic, so you can just say lightsaber on.
Oh God! Why do you have to bring
Is
that up?
this going to be level based?
That is what I wanted to know.
How many different guns are in the game?
I wanted to know what the structure of this game was. It sounds like it's going to be level based, but like I was kind of hoping for more.
Is there going to be an inventory?
We don't know.
Is there going to be dialogue trees?
We think there's going to be a lightsaber.
Brad, you're asking questions that we all. Well, I know why you're asking these questions. We don't know the answers to these things, Brad. We can all be angry
but it's
about
a new Star Wars game, and we're excited. God damn it!
You know,
It's fine.
You know what? I am still kind of excited, but it is
talk about a game. But don't drum up so much hype with a 1 hour panel, then open up pre-orders when people still have no idea.
Hey,
I do 110% agree with you on that.
Electronic Arts keeping it classy.
Oh my God! Next news topic, please. This is a good one. GameStop has announced and started a new return policy for new games.
This is it. This is the beginning of the end, guys. This is the
48 hours. You can return a game for $60 credit. Brand new game within 48 hours of release.
So many people are going to be poop socking games.
This is it.
Now.
They're starting this with Days Gone, which is getting mediocre reviews.
This is it.
This is
Last year they had
For
a
whom the
$600
bell
million
tolls.
Last year they had a $600 million loss or some shit like that.
Dude, they've been on the decline for years
this
now.
could kill them. Doing it with Days Gone. Oh man, see they probably thought, like the new God of War, the new Horizon's coming out, right? Sony's new first party game, right? This is
it gonna be weird? Like GameStop sucks, and I don't think any of us really like GameStop. But like, is it gonna be weird not having a dedicated video game retailer?
Yes. If GameStop goes away, I will be super sad.
Yeah.
So I have hundreds upon hundreds of video games, and a lot of them have come from like GameStop getting rid of their old stuff.
Like
and I would go in there
bins.
and I buy games for like $2 a piece, stacks full of games, right? Where do you do that if GameStop doesn't exist?
You don't.
Where do you fucking do that?
The whole industry pushes closer to digital.
You go to Babbage's.
Oh my God!
I don't want GameStop to go away. That's sad.
I don't want them to go away either. To be honest, though, this is one of those situations where they're obviously trying something, and they can very easily just
Stop.
They can easily just abort.
They can
Oh
get
my
rid
god!
of it.
There's going to be so many copies of Days Gone at GameStop.
Yes. So you'll be able to get one for cheap.
The question is,
Wait 48 hours, guys. Don't buy Days Gone. Wait 48 hours and GameStop will
Are they
have it
going
for
to drop
cheap.
the price? You get $60 of store credit.
They better.
Yeah.
They better not sell me an open
$60.
game that someone took home and put in their dirty fucking
Does that
PS4
include
and
the
sell it
tag?
to me for full price.
No
Does that
tax.
include
they'll
the
sell
tag?
they'll sell to you for
So
$55.
$59.99.
Here's
So you're still out $5.
It is a
on the
gently
tax.
used Days Gone.
but here's
But you can play 48 hours of Days Gone,
Sure,
which, by the way,
But-
for
for $5.
not enough time to finish the game.
Do you know? This is just me spitballing here, but as far as why this might be a good thing for them, if they end up with a shit ton of used copies of Days Gone on the shelf, they're gonna sell a shit ton of used copies of Days Gone, and used games is where they get all of their fucking money.
No, because they paid $60 to a person to
but
take
Brad,
that copy
you know
of
what
Days
they're going to do with
Gone.
that $60? They have to go back to GameStop.
Yeah, but
They have to spend
they
that
could just
money
get
there.
the next new game.
No.
Some
dude,
people will do that,
some,
Brad.
No,
Some people
here,
will
this
do
is
that.
the order of events. Someone is giving GameStop $60 for Days Gone.
Yeah.
They are then giving $60 back, so it's a wash. They are getting a used copy of the game
Which they
that
sell
they
for
then
100%
turn around and
profit.
sell for $55, full profit. That is what's happening.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think the whole thing is that, like,
I don't think it's
who's
going
going to be buying Days Gone?
I don't.
No, but,
like,
but that's not
who's gonna be
full
buying all the,
profit.
like-
GameStop did that anyways, except they gave you $30. Now they're giving you $60.
Yeah,
that's how they
they're
made their money.
cutting
No,
more.
no, dude, no. You're seeing this all wrong. If someone buys the game for $60,
Yes.
trades it in, and then they give them $30 back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd-
GameStop
Now they're
had
giving
more
$60
money.
They'd be a little more
They're giving
ahead.
away more money now, Nick.
No, but here's what I'm sorry. What I'm getting at.
You
sorry.
used to work
First of all,
there.
let me just say, no matter what the logic is here, I don't think it's going to work. I think the idea is though they're going to sell
It's
a shit
the
ton.
only thing they can do.
They're going to sell a shit ton of copies of Days Gone, right? Within 48 hours, they're going to get a certain percentage of those traded back into the store at a much faster rate than if someone was just going to trade. Because if you can go back to the store and get $60 back instead of $30, you're much more inclined to go back and trade it in.
Sure.
They're going to end up with a shit ton more copies of Days Gone used than they would have had otherwise, that they will then turn around and sell at full price.
Yeah, but that's
they're
what I'm
still not
saying.
making money off
You're
of it.
saying that
Yes,
they're
they
going to
are.
sell them, and I'm saying no, they're not, because no one's going to
They-
fucking
they-
buy
No
them.
one wants to buy.
They only make money selling the game at $55 if they bought it for $30.
No, they're the first transaction is a wash. It's no money was exchanged. $6 was given, $6 was given
that's
back.
not true
What
because
Brad is saying is
GameStop
they had to, buy
give
the
money to the
game
publisher.
from Sony
Yeah.
to sell it.
Yeah.
There's that loss.
And they don't
hold
buy
on.
it
But,
back.
but still, it is a smaller loss. What I'm
Guys,
saying is they are still
hold
going
on.
to turn around and sell they're still going to
This
sell
is a new thing they're trying. It probably won't work. It's the only thing
It's
they
bad.
can do going forward, though,
Yeah.
just to stay relevant.
It's literally they're
let's
giving
wait-
away money to get people to walk into
Let's
the store.
wait 2 weeks and see where we're at.
Yes.
Let's wait
You're
a couple
right.
of weeks.
We need to move on. All I'm saying
Actual
is
profit comes from trinkets. Now they're little
Yeah.
figurines and stuff. That's the soda and the popcorn.
That's more than 50% of their business now.
I'm just saying if you dig deeper into the logic, having worked at GameStop for 6 years, Crispy
Listen-
worked there for a long
Listen to
time
these
too.
shenanigans. I went to GameStop in Hawaii and I bought Valkyria Chronicles 4.
That key is.
6 days later,
You son of a bitch.
GameStop emailed me.
And
It was like, you have a game that's worth $18.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I just fucking bought it, and I'm on like the second level. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
They're like, bring it back, bring it back.
They want to get as many games back in as possible because that's where they make their money.
Guys, what happened to
Only
GameStop?
when they give you $18 though.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck happened to GameStop?
What happened to GameStop is the industry.
The industry's changed.
The industry
Amazon
just
happened to GameStop.
Days
Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh god, damn it! All right, I mean the reason Days Gone is even part of this story is because this probably makes a lot more sense in their head for a game that's like
Someone's gonna walk
How does
into
this
GameStop.
work?
They're gonna be like, "Where's all the copies of Days Gone?" And the GameStop's gonna be Days in the back. They're gonna walk out with the
They
stack.
have 40 used copies of Days Gone. Days not gone.
Days gone. You guys want to hear a funny story about when I worked at GameStop?
Okay.
wait what?
Some dude who worked at one of the GameStops down the road from mine apparently had a nervous breakdown on shift while he was working alone, called his drug dealer, had that guy bring him crystal meth. He did the meth in the store, and then when customers were walking in, he opened up the register and just started handing them money.
Oh my god! What?
And that guy got fired.
Of
course he
Chris
did.
Davis, can you move chat?
There he goes.
So I was like, how long is Nolan gonna be waving?
That's
his
what
arms?
working at GameStop does to
Actually,
you.
maybe you should hide chat right now. I don't know.
I'm trying to do.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, next news topic. All I'm saying is the reason Days Gone was a part of this conversation was because they picked a really bad time to start
Yes,
a new
they
return
did.
policy on a game that is probably going to end up getting a lot of returns.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just in general.
They just remember all those Fallout 76 returns.
Oh my god. Whew, that would have been
Please
that
stop
would have been even
destroying
worse.
our stores.
That would have been even worse. All right, the producer of Devil May Cry 5 has come out and confirmed that there is no additional plans for any more DLC.
This is tragic.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like this whole game was kind of mishandled.
There was like
but-
a big fucking tease that made everyone was talking about the Ladies' Night DLC, right? You're gonna be able to play as Trish and Lady, like what happened? I thought this game sold pretty well.
Dude, to be honest, like, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I don't know.
It's a bummer because
It's a-
like people like we're complaining like, man, how come you can't play as Lady? How come you can't play as any ladies in this game? And people were saying, man, wait for the DLC.
DLC?
They're gonna do a DLC. They kind of tease it, and then no.
That shit is... Dude, Devil May Cry 5 made some weird-ass fucking decisions. One of which being introducing a brand new character when they had two
Returning characters.
returning characters that everybody would love to fucking play as.
Yeah.
And then to not add that into DLC later is adding more insult to
Also,
injury.
they had horrible tutorials.
Aside from the fact that Devil May Cry 5 plays like a dream, I feel like everything outside of that fact has been handled really poorly.
Wait,
They got the what's it called out pretty quick.
The what?
The
The tower?
Yeah.
Whatever you call it.
yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. What does this mean, though? Like, if they had already talked about doing this DLC, why would they suddenly change their mind? Unless it's just kind of like maybe it didn't perform up to their expectations, or maybe...
I don't know if they officially talked about it. I think there was an assumption. There was an assumption.
Yeah.
I mean, so to talk about it from a person who is
Bloody
not
powers.
a Devil May Cry fan, I played 5. I didn't finish it because other games started coming out. But it's one of those things where I was a lucky individual in that while I was playing Devil May Cry 5, I had people actively helping me play the game properly. Because I was playing it extremely improperly and having a horrible fucking time. Yeah. And it wasn't until chat was like, dude, you're doing it wrong. You gotta do this and this and this and this. And I was like, oh, this is a good game. But I didn't fucking know that. And I think that, in all honesty, is probably hurting them extremely, putting out a game with bad tutorials, not teaching you how to properly use mechanics, how things work, there's just so much that this game either doesn't tell you, or it tells you in a quick blurb, and then it's gone forever, and it's like, I hope you remember that thing we told you half an hour ago.
But in general, the buzz surrounding this game was very positive from both critics and players.
Because everyone was excited about the concept of a new Devil May Cry.
Word of mouth was good.
Yeah.
And I think it actually sold pretty well.
Well, we don't know that for a fact yet.
Well, I mean, Capcom did say that
Devil May Cry has never been like a big seller for Capcom, I don't think. I mean, it's been a big franchise,
yeah.
I suppose.
Even 4
relatively
was at least
speaking,
a
but
million seller.
when you look at like Capcom's like big franchises, I think Devil May Cry is probably the lowest one on that totem pole in terms of like popularity and sales. I don't know.
I'd say maybe
it's
Dino
not
Crisis.
It's not Resident Evil.
Or
I mean, Dino Crisis is
Sure.
Dino Crisis isn't even on the map anymore, so let's not bring that one up.
Onimusha. I don't know. It's just everyone was riding like drinking the Capcom Kool-Aid, so this is kind of like a fly just flew into the fucking glass, and it's like, come on.
Hey,
man.
here's the glass half full view of this. Maybe they're now shifting development to Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, do it.
The glass might be half full, but that fly's still there.
One fly is not going to
Brett,
kill you.
I just got a new glass. It's
I like
fine.
One
like my
fly
analogy.
isn't going to kill you. Next news topic.
And the new one,
That's
Brad.
it?
The new one is a sippy cup.
No, there
so
wasn't.
No flies.
There wasn't
Oh,
another
this
one.
one's weird.
Oh, not this one.
I put this one on there. This one's
No,
weird.
this is not news.
They announced a remake of 13.
13 wasn't even that good.
that graphic novel?
Yes,
Yeah. What?
not Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
13.
did you miss some FFs in there?
No, You remember that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're remaking it. Not a remaster. They remade it.
Remaking it.
There is another one. God damn it, Chris Davis. Why you always do this shit to me?
Wait, what?
Or did Nick not make an overlay
No,
for
it's
it?
possible.
Wait, what is it?
Nick does this shit to me too sometimes.
What?
The Retro Studios tease. I wanted to talk about this for a second.
There's no overlay.
I did not make that overlay.
Apologize.
So fuck everyone but me and Crispy.
Okay, so Reggie finally retired from Nintendo, and he received a lot of cool gifts, and he was showing off a lot of these gifts on Twitter and stuff. And one of them was like a desk of a lot of his gifts or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And there was some art from an artist at Retro Studios, and it was like, it has all their characters, right? There was like Samus was on there, Donkey Kong characters were on there, right? Maybe he could pull up the image, right? Well, there was also in the corner, covered by like a Mario statue, blocked by a Mario statue, right behind his back, you see a hand. It's like a robot hand. And no one knows, like what the fuck is this? We know what Retro's made. We don't know what this is, right? We know that they were working on something for a long time. But now they've been put on Metroid, right? So a lot of people have assumed, okay, well, that thing is either canceled or maybe done, right? But they haven't even like announced it or teased it or anything, right? But the thing is about this hand is, so people were tweeting at the artist, and he was being all like,
Coy.
he's like, are you teasing something? And he's like posting gifs of like coy little gifs, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much confirmed to be some form of like teaser, and I could see them getting Reggie, in on it, right? So there's like threads on Error just trying to figure out what the fuck this hand is. So the reason I think this is newsworthy is because Retro Studios might have actually finished a project, and that project might actually be announced soon, might be at E3, and that's kind of exciting that maybe there was something that they've been working on for years.
You're right,
since
Brad.
Tropical Freeze.
You're right, Brad. I just want
Do you have that picture?
I just want to point out to you.
Yeah.
This would be like the third E3 we've talked about. Oh, this is the year that Retro is going to announce their thing. I'm just tired of being disappointed.
Shut up, Nick.
I'm tired of being disappointed, man.
Listen, well, first of all, we know Retro Studios is now working on Metroid Prime 4, but this is obviously not related to
Wait, do we know that? I know they canceled and rebooted. Did they say Retro is attached to it now?
Retro.
Retro.
That was the.
I forgot about that part of the story.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So people were wondering. So, well, what the fuck they've been doing all this time? Maybe this hand, which we now know is a tease of sorts, might mean we're about to find out.
I hope it's a game about a robotic hand.
Like there's actually nothing behind the thing. It's just the hand.
He's a very important businessman. He has a job. It's called his hand job that he has to do on a daily basis to get money.
You're better than this, Nolan.
No,
You're better than this.
definitely not.
All right, that's it for news. Like I said, we had a lot. So let's move on. We're gonna start. It's kind of a long show. We're moving right along. When we started this show, we, for whatever reason, didn't actually have any questions from supporters on Patreon and Twitch. Now we have
which was a good thing because we don't have a whole lot of time. And Nick was like, "We don't have any questions, guys." So then, like a shit ton of questions came in.
So now we're doing a lightning round.
So now we have a bunch of
lightning
questions. Before I get there, I forgot to pull up the list of new patrons, and I'm doing that right now. So give me half a second.
I know one's name is Tori.
Tori, apparently. Okay, so here we go. So new patrons. We have Tori.
Thank you, Tori,
for being a new patron. I believe that's it. Yeah, that's the only new patron.
Thanks, Tori.
Thank you, Tori, for being a new patron. We really appreciate
ya.
it. If you want to support us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/4Player.
So let's get some questions from our patrons.
Let's do it.
First question this week from Jerose. Do you wet your toothbrush before and or after putting the toothpaste, or none at all?
Both.
Before.
Wait, you don't wet it after you put toothpaste on
Why
it?
is this a
It's already
debate?
wet.
No.
Because you're wetting the toothpaste.
Why does the
well.
toothpaste need to be wet? And it's abrasive that goes in my mouth. It already has moisture in it.
I'm done with this question. Next question.
I wet.
Moving on.
Really?
I wet the brush. No, I don't. I don't wet the brush. I just put toothpaste directly on the brush, then wet it.
Yeah, dude,
In my mouth.
you wet toothpaste, man.
You wet the bristles.
The bristles
to soften
are already
them.
wet.
No,
You wet the bristles to soften them. You wet the toothpaste to soften it, and then you brush, and that's it.
no toothpaste on the brush.
Oh my
put it in
fucking!
your mouth?
You guys are manufacturing a fucking debate out of this, and it's dumb. Next question.
I think y'all are just wasting
Actually,
water.
Jerose is manufacturing a debate.
Y'all are just wasting water.
I've heard this
and y'all
debate
should feel
before.
bad. Zero
Some
Skies.
people don't use any water.
That's true.
Those people are monsters.
Is JRPG a genre, or does the game have to be made by a Japanese developer?
It's a
Should
genre.
the genre name be changed to reflect that it is a global genre now? What would you rename it?
All right, here's
It's a genre.
if you say it's a genre, name one JRPG that was made in
Cosmic
the West.
Star Heroine, bitch. And there's a lot
You
more.
call that a JRPG?
Yes.
Genre is like a pretty nebulous thing. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing like genres are kind of a weird construct that we use to try to
Put things in
categorize
boxes.
disparate pieces of art. I mean, there are some like in film, there are genres where if the movie wasn't made in this 10-year block in this part of America, then it's not part of that genre.
Let me ask you this.
That is
Like,
true.
Would you call Dark Souls a JRPG? Because it's an RPG developed in Japan.
No.
Let me ask you this, Brad. Aside from Cosmic... Which one you just named?
Cosmic Star Heroine.
Aside from Cosmic Star Heroine.
Heroin.
There's a lot.
Can you
more-
name
Heroin.
another JRPG that was made in the West?
another JRPG that Anachronox?
I know I shouldn't have asked.
Name 6 more.
Would I call Dark
Like-
Souls a JRPG?
Yeah, like
Not
can
Anachronox.
Eurojank be made not in Europe?
You know, you're right. You know what? I concede the point because I don't feel comfortable calling Dark Souls a JRPG.
No,
I mean, but like
it's
even
an
though
action
it was made in
RPG
Japan.
that was made in Japan.
Penny Arcade Adventures is like a traditional JRPG.
That is
but
true.
it's-
All right, I
it's-
concede the point. You're right. You're absolutely right.
All right,
Brad.
let's move on. Next question from Chai. I don't really want to read. What's the most Carlos moment you've ever had the honor of being Carlosed by? I don't know.
Oh God, does what he did to us last week count? Can we even say that?
No, you know what? We can't say it, but that's pretty fucking Carlos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we say?
I have a
Carlos-
story.
You would know best, or maybe
Carlos,
Crispy would
I have
know
a-
best.
I have a
Carlos,
work
how public is the information about
I don't know.
this
I
weekend?
have a work story related to that. That was like one of the most Carlos things I'd ever seen happen, and I just like wasn't part of it, but got to watch it happen, and it was great. But yeah, I don't know if he's.
Carlos, how public is the information? Related?
Nothing, Carlos.
The
It's
thing
all
that-
a lie.
about this weekend.
The thing happening this weekend, Carlos,
The
in
thing
chat.
the thing that you made up for this weekend.
The thing that none of us actually know if it's real or not.
The thing that you paid someone to do this weekend. And it's going to go great until the money runs out.
Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty Carlos.
Let's just leave it at this. Carlos did a thing to
No,
us.
you want to know something super Carlos? Oh man, I got a lot of stories about Carlos.
Wait, Crispy never told his story.
No, because I don't know if I. It very
that's too
specifically
recent.
revolves
Oh, yeah.
revealing.
let's
Gotcha.
not-
Okay, what's your story, Brad?
Oh, I got so many. You know how Carlos
Is it
takes
doof?
pride in not having a phone?
Sure.
You can't do anything with this guy
Yeah.
because if he gets lost, and he gets lost because he doesn't have a smartphone, he's just gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
off the grid.
And the whole day, you don't know if you should send out a fucking search party. And there's been multiple events. Like, we were going to, like, me, my wife, and Henry were going to meet Carlos at the fucking zoo or some shit. And he got lost and couldn't find the zoo. And we're, like, sitting around the zoo waiting for Carlos. And we had no way, we didn't know where he was.
Dude, he never
We had no
left
way
his
of
house.
contacting him. And he eventually showed up at the zoo. And we were like, well, we're ready to go. I don't know if Carlos went. We thought maybe he was lost in the zoo. He never got to the zoo. We had no way of contacting him because of the fucking meme.
Bring Darakas asks, is that why we don't take Carlos to E3? You know what?
You can't take
No.
Carlos anywhere.
You can't take Carlos, but Carlos, or like at PAX, you have you have a way of eventually finding him. Luckily, there's enough like community members also at PAX that like
Someone finds him and brings him to
Someone
us.
finds
You
Carlos.
got to get him that little backpack with the leash and the squeaky shoes. That's what you got to get for Carlos. All right, let's move on.
You
We
need to
got
give
more
him a
questions.
flare gun or something.
Our new patron Tori.
Tori?
Winterbell.
Is that Winterbell?
Yeah, Winterbell.
Winterbell.
Asks
Oh, Winter Rebel.
Winter Rebel. Thank you. I thought it was like a weird spelling.
Carlos
I
never
like
told
when
me
people
we
I like
couldn't
when
talk
people
about
put like underscores or hyphens in their name and stuff. Make it very obvious. I don't remember if you guys covered this yet. If you were forced to cannibalize someone, which part of the body would you start with and why? Couldn't think of a better question, but it's my first week as a
Penis.
patron and wanted to take advantage.
We have to
of the
answer it.
question.
It's
Start
his
with the
first
penis.
question. We have to answer it.
Start with the pain
I mean,
ass.
that is the softest part,
That thick old
most
dumper.
likely.
Wait, I'm sorry. The thick old what?
Dumper.
Dumper? Like the butt?
Yeah, like the butt cheeks.
The rump? Like a rump roast?
I'd start with the penis and I wouldn't even chew.
You're so used to it. It's just natural. Oh, fuck. So I got to the. What are you doing, Brad? Like buttoning your pants over
Fixing
there?
my-
That one broke me.
So sometimes I fall into YouTube holes because I was watching this like kind of YouTube documentary about like dissecting a person, and they got to a part where they're like, "All right, now we're going to dissect the penis."
Like an autopsy?
Yeah, and I was like watching them, and they're like, "We're just gonna make a slit."
Why were you watching that?
Because I'm curious. It's a thing that
see, I can
happens.
I
never
watched one of
be-
those. Like Princeton University had one, or I don't know, some school had one where they like had autopsy videos, and
Yeah.
I watched like 5 minutes of it and was like, no.
Yeah, and
I'm
they're
not-
like, we're not
Well,
gonna
they're
slice it
now we've
completely
got
in
to
half.
now we've got to scrape the flesh off the ribs
Yeah.
to open up the Y cut, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
and
no.
it's just they're just like have this really fucking sharp knife and it just boop, right through the penis and like bend it in half. And they're like, here we can see the ventricles and all this. And I was like, oh, like it's interesting. I'm glad it's not my penis they're doing that to, but it's nice to
I'm glad you
watch.
should clarify that for us.
Yeah, it's
Holy
I'm
shit.
interested in that kind of stuff.
Is that a satisfactory answer, or do we?
Lightning round.
Oh my god!
I don't know. I mean, it depends.
The eyes, the eyeballs.
I mean, it depends on the scenario. No, if you're
You would want to go with the fleshiest parts, right?
well, not necessarily. So
I already
it depends.
answered.
It depends. If you're somewhere cold, you want to eat the smaller things first because they're gonna succumb to like kind of like frostbite, like kind of get that freezer burn kind of. So you don't eat those first. The larger pieces will probably be sustained for longer.
He's thought about this a lot.
So yeah, maybe
You know
you
what
go
I
with like
thought
the
a lot
fingers
about?
or something, the toes, some little riblets
You know
kind
what
of
I
going
thought
on.
about?
Like what's
This
up?
the scene in Home Alone where Joe Pesci was
Burns
like,
his hand?
"I'm gonna bite your fucking fingers
yeah,
off."
yeah.
Was he actually gonna do that?
Probably.
I think about how that scene would have played out.
Think about how
That's
that.
horrifying.
Think about how that movie came out the same year as Goodfellas.
Oh wow.
Oh man!
I could be mad at a kid enough to maybe kill him, but at the point when I'm gnawing off his fingers, things have gone too far.
Siri, call 911.
Oh my goodness! All right,
Oh.
next question.
Next question from Illumination. What would be the creepiest thing you could say while passing a stranger on the street?
Oh, that's a dark question, but requires some. Oh,
Don't go into your
creepiest
creativity.
Just
don't
admiring
go into
the
your bathroom tonight.
just admiring the shape
And
of
then
your
just
skull.
walk
The
away.
creepiest thing. This is what I would do.
Just look someone dead in the eyes.
I
Like,
would
don't
look
go
up
home.
to see what the most like common name is for like kids' names or whatever, and I
Well,
would
that's not gonna
Just
work.
try it to
I'd
everybody.
pass everyone, and I'd be like, "Tell Julia I said hi."
Jesus Christ, Brad.
Until I found
911.
someone whose daughter was actually Julia, or whatever.
And then they punch you in the face and they beat the shit out of
But,
you.
the- but I'm saying,
Julia.
but I'm saying that would
Who's
be.
naming their daughter Julia?
But I'm saying that would be creepy, right? That's the question, right? What's
Yes.
the creepiest thing? It would probably be that,
Oh my
or
god!
like I died 10 years ago.
That is, that is like.
What that mouth do?
Oh god!
Jesus. There was an old Dimitri Martin bit where he was like, when people always like, oh, here, let me show you some pictures of my kids, and he'd be like, oh yeah, I got some pictures of your kids too.
Oh god! Yeah, that's.
Same one I took the other day.
Well,
All right, let's move on. Final question from our patrons. Dragon Slayer Wielder asks, what is your opinion on crunch culture? Recently, I saw a post of the Apex Legends team working on content and people complaining that they are not working fast enough for their needs and the game is now, quote, dead. Is it a problem with the industry or a problem with the consumers?
Consumers?
I think it's a problem
Oh.
with the
Wait, no.
no, not
Both.
consume.
Well, no, it's both to an extent, but I guess it's this problem where certain companies will crunch and they get content out really fast, and then people consume that really fast.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a problem of there's so much content out there that people feel if certain games like Apex Legends aren't constantly getting updates, or like, well, this one's stale, I'm going to move on to this, because since Apex Legends has come out, 45 other fucking games have come out, and so they're like, well, if it's not going to get an update, I'm just going to go do something else. And it's just kind of like this kind of just like cycle that goes on that it's like, oh, well, everything else is being pumped out so quickly that since this other thing, they're taking their time to, make their content better, I'm just gonna not play it.
I think Crunch is terrible, but the entitled fuckers who think that they deserve that the developer does crunch to cater to their needs, those people are also the worst.
That's true.
But it's also kind of cyclical too, right? Because at some point, someone on the chain making the decisions revolving around these games is deciding that that the only thing that sells are these games with these massive scopes, right? Where the only way to do it within the time frame that they need to do it is to crunch. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, hey, maybe we should rein it in a little bit and not go for something, maybe not make the next Witcher 3, maybe not make the next Skyrim, maybe make something at a smaller scope that we can produce without having to rely on crunch to get it done.
I think the issue with Apex or Fortnite is that nobody expected it to blow up the way that it did.
Yeah.
So you got to move fast, right?
Yeah.
If you are going to be the next major company that can now compete with Steam, you know what I mean? And it's fucking terrible, but I understand why they did it. I don't think they ever should do it, but.
Well, the thing is, there are industries out there as well where workers work long hours. I mean, look at movie production, or look at any sort of manufacturing or production. You typically work long hours. You've got 12 hours. Yeah, but thank you for.
Oh.
Those industries are all protected by unions.
Yeah, that's true.
Which video games largely don't have.
Oh, and that's not going to happen. There's not... starting a union in this day and age is so fucking difficult. Because it is hard for... It's easy to get the employee on board. It's hard for a company to accept having a union nowadays. Because they're just fuck off then. We'll find someone else.
That's a fucking problem.
No, I agree it is.
The same people who are saying you need to be working X amount of hours and basically giving us your fucking life for this game are the ones also saying we don't want to negotiate with you on an even playing field.
Yeah.
So I think it's a scenario of you need to find good employers and kind of give them support and give your money to them and give them the feedback that's good. And you find there, I promise you, given enough time, shitty employers will either have to get less shitty or they will, to an extent, go out of business. It's one of those things where, it depends on the industry you're in, and it depends on where you're at. Because sometimes, yes, on certain industries and jobs, you don't really have an option to go too many other places, or it's hey, I need this job, I need to get paid. Not
a lot of industries have the support system of the gaming industry where you lose your job one day and then you're get 5.
But that's not always the case.
That's not always the case.
I would say that can be kind of tough, and it's a tough scenario to be in when there's shitty employers who aren't treating their employees well.
Even the good employees. So there was a really interesting interview between Jason Schreier and Tim Schafer of Double Fine recently, and pretty much in every interview that he does with an industry person, Jason Schreier is bringing up unions, sure, because it's sort of the topic of conversation, crunch culture and everything. And he was saying to Tim Schafer, who seems very pro union, right? And he seems very anti crunch culture, and he's proud of the culture at Double Fine, which is supposed to be a really good place to work. And Jason Schreier's well, so why don't you be kind of like a leader here and maybe be the start of people unionizing in the games. And Tim Schafer's well, I feel that should start at these bad places to work, like at Activision, right? Not here. We're people here are happy. So it's
that's everything.
That's the thing. I feel even the good ones don't always want to be the one that starts the thing, especially not the CEO or whatever.
Well, yeah, because that to an extent, it's when there's no union. It's I don't want to say that the CEO has more power, but they kind of do. It's a scenario where the CEOs and boards and they have a little more control over what goes on. When all of a sudden you introduce a union, the company's hey, we want to go in this direction, and the union's that doesn't really work for us. We're gonna go on strike. Well, it's well, fuck. Now I can't get my work done because they don't like this decision. Whereas if that union wasn't there, it's just hey, tough luck. That's what we're doing, and that's our decision. And it's one of those things where
I feel that's...
Well, no, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying...
A bit of a... Yeah.
I know. I'm just trying to say that I can see both sides of the table. It sucks. I wish all employers weren't assholes. I wish they treated people well. I wish they gave them good vacation time and stuff like that. But I also think that I don't foresee going forward in the state of the country we live, too many unions forming. And that's just how this country... I'm not saying I agree with it. I just don't see it happening anytime soon.
If I feel like it was going to happen for the gaming industry, it would have already started a long time ago.
I'm not saying it's right.
Voice actors
I
unionize or
I don't
something?
think that's like a thing, right? Like that's like I don't know. This is such a big discussion topic. But
We could have an entire podcast talking about the unionization of the industry, and maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, there's a reason Chloe and Before the Storm wasn't Ashley Birch.
Correct.
And I think it's because they were on strike. Voice
the
actors?
voice actor strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
We have one more question.
Yeah.
And this is from a Twitch subscriber in our Discord. From Thorax. Says, question of the week, what bullshit can you not believe we still have to deal with in 2019?
Video game related?
I think in general.
The planet is dying?
Yeah. So
That is true.
Racism?
Anti-vax people?
Oh my God.
Measles are back. That's
Dude,
a thing.
I love that it's now a mandate in New York. If you're not vaccinated, you get fines. You're not allowed to go to schools. Like all this shit, they are like cracking down hardcore on it, and it's like fucking good.
Exactly.
People are fucking idiots.
Meanwhile, there's measles at Google.
What?
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Measles at Google.
Like Google, like the company has people with measles?
Yeah, in like San Francisco or some
Really?
shit. Yeah.
yeah.
All these.
I read something today that said that if you were born before 1989, you should probably go get a new measles vaccine.
Oh, God.
It's that bad.
Wait, before 1989?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I need to get him.
That's all of us. No.
Oh, no. We got to get a measles vaccine. You know what? If I need to do it, I'll do
Wait,
it.
what are the symptoms of measles?
Coughing.
Shut up, Brad.
Sorry.
What's
I
next?
shouldn't be laughing.
Polio.
He's coughing all over here.
Polio's coming back too.
Oh, God.
Woo.
I mean,
yeah, I think
it's funny. I think he was going for more of like a jokey answer. You know, like what are
Potentially,
like,
yeah.
what are some like conveniences that we don't have that we expected to have?
Oh, I thought
like,
he was going
I can't
for-
believe we have to wipe our own ass.
no,
still,
I
that
see-
kind of stuff.
I thought he was going for Nazis.
He said, "What
'Cause that's
bullshit can you
crazy.
still not believe? Can you not believe we still have to deal with?" That was the question. I mean, I don't think it's like a lack of stuff. I think it's just like, why is this still a thing? And that's kind of what I was talking about with some friends the other day. That like, 20 years ago, people are like, "Oh, dude, science! Look at this great stuff. We look at finding planets or doing all this stuff." And now scientists are like, "Hey, get vaccinated," and people are like, "No, I read online that's bad."
I can't believe
like just people not believing. People who were educated, who spend decades learning and perfecting this, and they're like, I know you have a degree, but I read this Yahoo Answers, so I'm just gonna say no.
I feel like the internet has been both one of the most
Oh, yeah,
glorious
it's a blessing and a
the
curse.
most
I mean,
worst things in the world to ever happen to humanity.
people like not understanding, and all of this obviously is going to be geared towards the United States because I don't really know about other countries because I'm a horrible human being. But like not understanding their constitutional rights, a lot of times like people be like, "Oh, free speech" and blah blah blah, and it's like that doesn't work the way you think it works. And just being able to say things and threaten people and all this
You
stuff.
can say whatever
and,
you
like,
want. That doesn't mean we have to.
the gun industry in our country. I can't believe we still have to deal with that bullshit.
How are libraries still a thing? Stupid.
I just found out the other day that there are 3 Annabelle movies.
And I've
Did not know
seen
that.
2 of them.
Like, what the fuck?
There's another one coming, actually.
Yeah, there's
I think the third one's the one I'm thinking.
No, there's another one.
that I've seen.
Oh, there's a 4th Annabelle movie.
Yeah, there's one in production right now.
Dude, the Conjuring universe of movies are
I can't believe that's still a thing.
bad.
Yep.
So bad.
Anybody think of anything else that's bullshit?
Yeah, Nazis are bullshit.
Ooh,
Rampant
that's accurate.
deregulation's bullshit. Everything.
Cars. I
everything's
feel like
bullshit.
there'd be more evolution in cars, but
Yeah.
People are trying.
yeah.
I don't know. Texas just decriminalized marijuana though, so woo.
Wait, really?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So
Like today?
anything up to no, it doesn't go into effect till next year, but like anything up to an ounce is only punishable by like a $200 ticket or something.
Let me
like
get an ounce of that.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
420-player podcast.
Just don't
That's
split
funny.
it up.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've sufficiently answered the questions. Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much for all the questions. If you want to ask us something next week, we will get a post up on Patreon early next week. Or if you want to jump into the supporters channel in Discord, which is discord.gg/4player, you can leave your questions there if you're a subscriber on Twitch. If you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/4player. It's just $1 if you want to ask us questions every week, $3 if you want to be a part of the Revival Club, and there's additional tiers if you want to check all that information out as well. I can't talk tonight. Now it is time to wrap up the show with 4-player minute. We've gone a little long. Let's see how fast we can do this. Brad, are you ready?
Yeah.
4-player minute. Hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you, or any combination there.
My fuck you is the Slay the Spire has been announced for PS4. It's got a date. It's coming out next month just for PS4. Where's the Switch version? It should be on Switch. It should be on a phone. It should be in my pocket. What the fuck, dog? I don't need it on PS4. I need it in my pocket. I need it in my bed. My thank you. Well, I guess my thank you goes to Image and Form because, man.
Good company right there.
Yeah, I mean, they really kind of keep coming up with fresh ideas for the Steam World series. And, like, that's really great. You know, they could have kept churning out the same idea over and over again. You know, they did it once, but, like, man, Steam World Heist was legitimately amazing. And their new game is a card-based RPG, and it looks pretty great. So thank you for keeping it fresh. You guys keep doing good work. Sorry. My hype is for... what is my hype for? I'm kind of hyped for Mortal Kombat story mode. You know, people think of me, I guess, as like some sort of Tekken snob because, hey, it's like a real fighting game. But
Oh, shit.
you know, Mortal Kombat, I've always respected NetherRealms for their single-player stuff, and they really go all out for the story mode. So even though I haven't played it yet, I do have it coming from Gamefly, and I'm pretty hyped to play it, and maybe I'll stream it tomorrow. I don't know.
Cool.
And my sweat, I'm going to go for...
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're coughing a lot, Brad.
Yeah, I am. No, I'm not sick or contagious. It's a thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what a sick or contagious person would say.
Why? I don't think...
Because they don't want to get the bullet.
Yeah.
And my sweat is for... I don't know. What am I worried about?
The future in general?
Yeah.
The Earth.
Yeah. Honestly, daycares, I guess. Sweat is...
What kind of video games?
I'm
is
a little worried
gonna
about
be
Henry.
playing?
He's very stranger
Super
shy.
into DDR right now.
Very stranger shy, and we've been worried about how that first day is going to go. And
You
the
know
day
why that is,
after
right,
that.
Brad?
After that,
Because you and Malia hide Henry in your house and you just never fucking leave. And you never take him places.
no, that's not.
How come you don't fucking bring him over here and hang out, Brad? You got to introduce him to people.
Because I
Yeah, Nolan has kids.
come over.
Bring him to the podcast,
No,
Brad.
we take him to
Sit
plenty
him
of
right
places
here.
with lots of kids and people. I don't bring him over here because I come over here at 8:00. He's asleep.
Bring him over on a Saturday. Just hang out.
I feel like
if y'all
I feel
like to
like-
see Henry,
I
we
feel like
certainly
Brad is gonna show up at Nolan's door at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday with Henry. Like, hey, what's up? We came to hang out. And Nolan's be like, wait, what? Why are you here?
No, we've definitely been taking him to lots of functions and
Socializing.
whatnot.
He can
but
ride Kato.
it's a phase, is what the doctor says. So I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
We'll see.
You done?
Yeah.
Cool. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype is obviously for in-game. I'm gonna be seeing it in 23 hours. So I'm pretty
You
excited.
shut
for
your
that.
mouth, Crispy.
Obviously. My sweat is for Steam World Quest. Not because I think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be great, and I think I'm gonna spend a shit ton of hours on it.
I heard it's only like 15 hours.
Really, 15?
Yeah,
Wait,
That's
what
not
is
too bad?
Avengers
Steam World
Endgame?
Quest.
but that's okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of. My other sweat is for Days Gone. I was kind of hyped on it, and then I fell off on it, and then I got hyped again, and then I heard it wasn't amazing. It's just okay, and then I kind of fell off again, and then I was just watching like a quick kind of video review without spoilers, and I kind of got hyped again, and like I don't know where I'm fucking at on this game. So we'll see what happens.
Might be a red boxer.
Yeah, maybe. Might be a 3-day after release GameStop pickup.
Oh god.
And then my fuck you is gonna go to myself because this past weekend I kind of I had finished Sekiro, and I had played some other games. Then I was like, I was playing some Supraland. Then I was like, I'm kind of multitasking, and ended up playing like 3.5 to 4 hours of The Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
You son of
Well, so I
couldn't play Sekiro because this motherfucker was playing Binding of Isaac.
You could have told me,
which is fine, but a Binding of Isaac of all games.
Well, so I had never really gotten too much in depth into the Afterbirth DLC, and so I had known there were some extra areas in the game that you could get to if you did a certain few things, and so I was trying to do that, and I did, and I ended up fighting some optional bosses, and I literally, Hush is the boss. I fucking beat him with half a heart of health left. It was so fucking intense, and it was fun. And dude, that game is still good. It still fucking holds
it's your
up,
Slay
man.
the Spire.
It's my everything like that
Everything.
Binding of Isaac. I can't tell you how many hours I've put into that game because I really don't know. I've only played so much on Steam because I played even more on PS4, which doesn't keep track of the hours. But yeah, that's my hype, or that's my 4-player minute.
Crispy.
Oh no, my hype is for making it through this weekend without getting spoiled on Avengers Endgame. I'm going to see it on Monday. So
You can make it. I have faith.
we'll see. We'll see.
I have all the faith in the world.
I'm gonna cry, you guys.
I think I'm gonna cry. Too.
I'm gonna cry.
I fully expect to be weeping through most of this movie.
My sweat is, why is it 3 fucking hours? I don't care.
I read an article, Crispy, that explained the best that had
I
3
know.
points. Best places
You know
to
what?
go pee.
You know what? 2 fuck yous for this week. 1 fuck you for that shit. Like, that is fucking...
The fact that it's necessary. Why?
No, it's not! Pee before you watch the movie. Pee after the movie.
You've never peed right before a movie and then had to pee like you were dying by the halfway through it.
Do you
have
wake up at
diabetes?
2 a.m. having to pee? Like,
When I go to the movies, I'm drinking beer.
Yeah, don't drink beer, you idiot.
But I want to drink beer.
Maybe not during.
Just get
Endgame.
fucking wasted before the movie.
I don't want to get wasted. Remember what happened
Nick,
with Infinity War?
just wear a catheter like the rest of us do.
Yeah, seriously, just pee in the bucket.
I don't want this to end up like Infinity War, where I somehow managed to not remember half the movie after I saw it.
I don't. Yeah, it just it just doesn't sit right with me. Don't care for this whole there's parts of the movie you should just go pee during.
Why is it so taboo to introduce the idea of an intermission in a movie that's over a certain length?
Yeah, they should definitely have
Dude,
an
they
intermission.
should.
Why is the movie 3 hours long? Is my question.
Inglourious Bastards had a fucking intermission.
This story
not
can't be.
Inglourious Bastards. Hateful Eight.
It did.
Yes, when you watched that in theaters, it had an intermission,
It sure did.
and it was
it
fantastic.
sure fucking
Wait,
did.
why? How long
Didn't
is that
Grindhouse
movie?
also have?
That movie is 2.5 hours.
Like 2.5,
long.
and they had a 5-minute intermission.
But
or
2.5
something like that.
hours is normal movie length now. Nowadays,
That's still kind of long.
most movies I see, I feel
2
are 2
hours.
to 2.5 hours.
That's because all you're watching are comic book movies.
Nick, what
And
is
no,
this movie?
Hateful
3
Eight
hours?
is 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh wow! Yeah, there you go.
Wait, why are you addressing this at me?
Because fuck you.
What did I do?
My other fuck you of the week goes to Ronda Rousey just for being both a terrible actor and terrible human being.
and she's an anti-vaxxer. No?
Fuck
no.
you,
Oh.
Ronda Rousey.
Probably.
There we go. Fair enough. All right, my hype starts now. I'm fucking excited for the Avengers. I'm seeing it tomorrow night. Like Nolan said, about 20 hours or so from now. I'm very much looking forward to it. I watched Infinity War this past weekend again. Only the 3rd time I've seen that movie. And that movie's pretty good. And it got me really hyped. I'm really excited to see how this is all going to kind of come to an end. Or at least this phase is going to come to an end. There's a lot of feelings. My sweat goes to Days Gone. I am excited to play this game. It's been getting mediocre reviews, and I don't know. Every time I see the game in motion, or I see a trailer for it, or whatever, I get excited for it, and I'm going to continue to feel that excitement. I'm going to play it. I'm going to give it a fair shake, even if it turns out to be not that great. There's been other games that I've ended up really enjoying. Brad brought this up earlier, but I feel like this is kind of the same thing with Mad Max. I felt the same way. Every time I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that looks really cool." It got kind of mediocre reviews, and I played it, and it was one of my favorite games of the year. So I'm kind of hoping that happens here, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm a little worried. My fuck you of the week goes to the producers of I guess who would that be? MGM? I don't know. Producers of the James Bond movie for doing that reveal, making it. They literally called it a reveal, and they didn't give us either
revealed anything.
a title for the movie or a teaser trailer. They did confirm that Rami Malek is going to play the villain, and that's super
That's
exciting.
not a reveal. That's
I
just
know.
announcing cast.
I know. It was literally them sitting on the beach where they filmed Dr. No, and they just talked to the actors for like 30 minutes, and then that was it. They answered some questions from people about, I don't know. It was kind of, I was like, why? Usually they do this. It's like a big thing where they reveal the car and they show the title with the title card and everything. Like usually it's a big fucking deal. And now it was just kind of.
They should have done a thing where Daniel Craig drives up in an Aston Martin, does a fucking what do you call it when you slam on the brakes and you turn like a fishtail, but like when you're coming to a stop and you go, and then the trunk pops open and the name of the movie's in the trunk.
That would be great. That would be more exciting than what we got.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck you guys for doing that like cock tease. That's ridiculous. And my thank you of the week goes to, I guess, Nintendo for putting, this is probably Nintendo and Square coming together and making a deal to put some of my favorite games ever, Final Fantasy IX specifically. I ended up playing that for like 10 hours on my vacation. I fucking love that game.
So you're
that
like
game
100th of the way through the game?
No, that game's only like a 40-hour game.
I
really.
know.
I mean, like, that game is so... They just don't make them like that anymore. Like, the fucking world in
the
Final Fantasy...
graphics are better now.
The world in Final Fantasy IX is so
I will
good.
say that the fantasy, like the universe they created, is very unique.
So
and
good.
That type of game is what I've been waiting for Final Fantasy to get back to.
Like, no Final Fantasy since 9 has made me feel the way I feel when I play Final Fantasy 9. Like, it's so good. So yeah, thank you Nintendo and Square for making that a reality. So anyways, that is our show. Wait, what?
Real quick, I just want to say, I looked it up. Hateful Eight had a 12-minute intermission in the middle of the movie.
Damn, yeah, that sounds great.
Well, they should really do that.
That
with
really helps.
any movie over like 2 hours 40 minutes, 2 hours 30. Just fucking throw an intermission.
Yeah,
in there,
but
man.
I mean, the kind of movies that Marvel movies are, they're not like there was a Hateful Eight was like artsy fartsy, right?
yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino.
It could do an intermission.
Why not? Fuck it. Do why not? Why does it have to be artsy fartsy to have an intermission?
I mean, you can't even watch a trailer now without a trailer for the trailer at the beginning of the trailer.
That's
That
true.
is weird. When did that become a thing?
Yeah, like in the
when
past year.
ad
People don't have the
skipping became a
patience
thing
for-
on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's what that's fucking for.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Gotcha.
People don't have the patience for intermission.
Dude, that's my whole
Pee on
point.
their
Is like,
mouths.
What the fuck?
why
All
is
right,
this
Bear
movie
Grylls,
like,
calm down.
like why does this story need 3 hours to be told?
I don't know, but that's a
Like-
discussion we should have after we cut this recording. Thank you
Thanks,
guys so much
guys.
for listening. I know it's been a long show. We missed a show last week, so we had a lot to talk about. So join us again next week. We'll talk about Days Gone, I'm sure. We'll talk maybe more Mortal Kombat, among other things. And we'll probably play a little bit Mortal Kombat before the show. So tune in next week. And if you're interested in supporting us, check us out at Patreon, patreon.com/4Player. Jump in our Discord at discord.gg/4Player. And of course, you can find all of our podcasts and everything over at 4playernetwork.com. That's a wrap. We'll see you guys later. Good night.
Bye.